Hello, and welcome to the Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
This is Buke.
This is Jay.
And I'm John.
Hi, my name is John.
Hi, I'm John.
Hello.
That's right. John is joining us again because we know that he's a big Wilderun fan.
Yes, sir.
And we've got an interview for you today with Evan Berry of Wilderun, as I learned it was pronounced. So we invited John along and said, hey,
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. That was fun.
You're a friend of ours. And so I want to lead right into this, John. You, as you mentioned in the interview, you said you went to Prague Fest. 15th time, Prague Power?
Prague Power.
Yeah, Prague Power. I always thought it was Prague Fest.
No, there's some power bands there.
I know. So you went there again. You got your 15th Dream Theater tattoo somewhere on you, right?
My Dream Theater tattoos are about a decade old now.
No, but
that ship sailed, crashed, and disappeared.
Every time I think of Prague, that's what I think of. So, how was it this year?
No, it was great. I go regardless of who's there, just because I want to go. Because I've been going since day one, and I've been a gold badge supporter since day one.
Are there many people who have your tenure there? Probably.
There's a few. I don't know.
Do you see some of the old heads?
All the time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
what exactly is a gold badge?
So the first one was done at J.J. Kelly's just south of Chicago. And it was like 300 of us in this small bar. And he decided to do it again that year. Glenn Harvison is the guy's name, who's the promoter. But he moved it down to Atlanta because he lives in Georgia. And for the people that showed up at the first one, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time now, he offered us, you guys can be gold badge members, which gives us different privileges, in and out privileges. We can buy our tickets, which is we have a badge. We get those at a different time. We pay for those. We get other things like we get in early for seats or in early for the vending, stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Perks here and there. And every year it's grown and grown and grown, but he's kept the number always as a certain amount. And there's, I think, a 4-year waiting list to get a gold badge.
Oh, shit.
It's like their Denver Bronco tickets or something.
Jesus.
You know what they say about the gold badge? Blood in, blood out. Yeah, you want to leave your gold badge.
So that happened to me because I've been to every one but the fourth one, which I'm actually pissed I didn't go to that. But I'm also happy I did something with a friend that weekend. But I emailed him and I say, Glenn, I bought a gold badge. Am I going to lose this if I don't show up? He said, don't worry about it. You paid for it. It's still yours whether you're there or not. I'm not going to take you off the list. So I've gone every year since then.
So when you were there, we saw Ashes of Aries that Friday and, interviewed the guys again. You said, guys, you're in for a show. They put on a killer show that Wednesday.
Yeah, they were great.
Any other highlights, just your overall impression of was it 3 days, 4 days?
4 days.
Okay.
So the main festival is Friday, Saturday. Yeah, so Thursday is the kickoff, and it's a separate promoter, even though it's still under the Prague Power umbrella. And then Wednesday is kind of like a midweek mayhem. So it's kind of grown more and more each year. I go for all 4 days. So, first day is a few bands, 3 or 4 bands. It was 4 this year. Thursday's 3, and then the main festival, Friday, Saturday, is the one that has like 6 bands each day.
Does the Friday, Saturday stuff, does that start like in the evening? It's not like an all-day kind of thing like that fest. It is all day. It
starts, I think, Gold Badge people get in at noon for merch, 1 into the venue, and I think the first band goes on either 1:30 or 2.
Wow, because around here you can have 7 bands on the bill and it doesn't start till 8 o'clock.
No, I think the first band still gets, I think, an hour.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, that is nice.
Now, looking at your pictures, John, correct me if I'm wrong here, is it seated?
So it's like Jay will know what I'm talking about. It's like the Greek theater.
Yeah.
So it's got the horseshoe seating, and then on the middle is the floor, which is standing. And then, the boards down there and everything. That takes up a little space. But it's general admission, so you sit wherever you want. There's always a fight every year about people holding seats. But I just happened to sit on that one side because you saw my pictures from the same angle. I just happened to sit there, and I just was moving up and down the whole night.
Yeah.
One thing so if you've gone every year, that means you were there, I don't know, a few years ago when, honestly, I don't think these guys have played in America otherwise, but Vandenplas was there, which is like one of my favorite vaguely prog bands.
They've played a few times there, actually.
Yeah.
And
are you a fan of theirs? I like them, by the way, quite a bit.
Yes, and I think I'm more of a fan of the earlier stuff, even though the thing about Vandenplas is that it's quality in terms of production, musicianship, everything's great about it. Whether I prefer the style of the album is a different thing, but I've always never felt cheated from those guys ever for anything they've ever done. They put out on stage too.
They put out on stage?
Yes, they do.
Sweet.
Well, they are German.
Wow, that is something you don't normally see from a band.
No, yeah. I was shocked.
I mean, Guar, but anybody else you wouldn't think
I
so.
expect that from them.
Really getting your money's worth here tonight. Christo is one of my
it's a great album. And Jay, the beauty of that is that for Gold Badge members, one of the main perks is that they'll do a Saturday acoustic show only for Gold Badge members. So there's like 200 or 300 of us, and I saw them do an acoustic show.
Yeah, I was following it when it was happening,
and it was very cool because they played covers, which sometimes I want to, if it's just for fun. I don't care if they do the regular set. I want to see something different. Mm-hmm. And the crowd was going crazy for them. They were great.
The highlights
this year
of the 4 days, because I know mine would have been Falconer.
Yeah, and I watched them a little bit. And as I was telling you, I like some power bands, some I don't. I watched a little bit, and I was like, I'm tired. It's late. And Anathema had just played before that. So I was like, man, I've been here since So I watched a little bit.
There are sometimes you realize, like we did at Death Fest, you got to realize, hey, I have to tap out right now.
And I usually tap out on the headliners, which is really funny because most of the headliners I'm not there to see. Although this coming year I'm there to see both headliners, for sure. But no, highlights for me was band Voyager from Australia. They're a prog metal band. Everyone's been yapping about, they're great. Yeah, whatever. Then I saw them, I was like, fuck, these guys are great.
This is why we bring John in. John's our resident prog guy.
Yeah, he actually talks about bands that I don't know about.
Yeah.
Like Voyager beats the shit out of me.
Yeah, and I liked them. I thought they were cool. Ashes Aries was great. Armored Saint just crushed their set.
Nice.
Wow.
I would like to say that word I said before, but I'll say this time they were on fire.
As
opposed to smoking. No, they were great.
Rain of fire.
Yes.
Yeah. And to be fair, John, where there's smoke, there's fire. So.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if any of our listeners, I'll throw it out there now, are prog fans, and I can't speak too much on prog.
It's not like it likes Opeth or anything.
But John, he's at White Cluster 69 on Twitter.
Thank you.
Shoot your prog questions to him or your band recommendations.
I know a little. So Armored Saint was not part of the festival. Something happened with the singer from Royal Hunt, DC Cooper, was supposed to do Thursday night headline, and he couldn't do it, but he still did Royal Hunt.
Okay.
They played. So they brought in Saxon and Armored Saint to fill the slot. And I was like, fuck yeah. I'm big on this. And I'd never seen Saxon live.
Yeah, me neither.
And they were great. I mean, Biff,
have.
Yeah, they sounded great. And they still got
I love them.
Yeah.
I get Saxon confused with Raven, who we saw.
But Armored Saint was great, and John Bush actually. There's a setup there where there's handicapped seating, and there's a guy in a wheelchair, and Bush saw him. He jumped off the stage and ran up into the stands, put his arm around the guy, and kept singing, which I thought was cool. But then he decided, this is kind of cool, I'm going to stay out here, and he just started going up and down all the aisles and taking pictures with people while he's still singing, which was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Anathema was cool. I'm a big fan of theirs. I prefer the early stuff more than the new stuff, but
The stuff that's metal.
Yeah.
that's been evolving for about a decade. And it's amazing to see all the hardcore doomish fans that are Anathema fans still like the new stuff, which is kind of cool. I know there's going to be the fans that hate it, but yeah.
Now, you left. Did you know what the announcement was going to be for next year yet? Had you heard rumors, or they announced it there?
Well, they do. He does Saturday night after the second to last band, before the headliner, which was actually Anathema was the headliner. But the way they set it up, since that was Falconer's last show ever, and they claim it really is their last show ever, they gave them the slot. So they got to end it for the evening. In between that period, they do the video.
Right.
And I was sitting
Had there been rumblings?
Well, yeah, people talk. And I knew it was like, okay, everyone wants Arch Matheos to come. I'm thinking, I know that they're Fates Warning's touring in Europe for Awaken the Guardian. He's bringing them. I know they're going to do it. And they do this little kind of tricky thing where the images come on the screen while it's setting up, and you can see Fates Warning sitting right there. And I was like, fuck, they're going to play, man. This is going to be awesome. And
when it happened, how were you? You're like, oh, because you are a very reserved, quiet guy.
I was like a little girl.
You're like, John's like, swing.
Well, I believe we're all old enough to remember.
Exactly.
And that I was like, well, I'm in. Regardless, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then when they announced Devin Townsend, I'm a huge Devin Townsend fan, and that he's going to possibly bring the Retinal Circus, I was like, fuck, because the former Gathering singer, will be with him, which would be cool. So yeah,
man,
a lot of power fans were crying. Not enough power metal bands.
Yeah, well,
you can't please.
You can't. It's hard to do.
There's a lot of bands that play at this festival that I'm like, whatever. But as soon as I saw Fate's Warning with John Arch playing All of Awaken the Guardian,
it's the same band.
I mean, you guys remember, I was like I was like a little girl. I was fucking, even my wife was just like, shut up about it.
And it's the band, it's the lineup from the album.
Yeah.
So Frank Oresti's back, because he's sort of not with them kind of thing now. So I was like, yeah.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I've been waiting 30 years to hear this, and this is something that I thought I would never hear or see.
Yeah.
And so it's really going to be hard to think of something that's physically possible that could top this for me.
I've seen all the incarnations of Fate's Warning. I've saw the reunion of the Parallels band. Mm-hmm. So I saw that. I've seen them on the current band. I've seen Arch Matheos. And now I'll get to see the early the actual real godfathers of prog metal, because they really were.
Yeah, and
with thrash elements, but no keyboards, but they still were really way ahead of everybody else at the time.
I mean, when the first 3 albums came out, to me, I mean, it certainly wasn't labeled as prog at the time.
Not at all.
It was just early 80s metal. Maybe, I mean, I don't even think it was probably called thrash, because it wasn't really, wasn't really something that bandied about until after Metallica.
And even then, it was, at least in the Bay Area when I was growing up, it was always speed metal.
Yeah.
Because it was so fast and aggressive.
Right. Yeah, it took me, I was all about speed metal. Thrash came kind of later.
I think when Halloween probably came around, where the European speed metal kind of took hold of that form, and then, thrash kind of took hold in the States.
Yeah, and the early Metal Blade stuff is, when it got to be, after I was out of high school and like in the mid-90s, I started getting nostalgic for that sound, because after grunge came along, metal just completely changed, and what was no longer. Now it was black metal, death metal, and it just wasn't the same, and so I got nostalgic for that sound that I grew up on with Fate's Warning and Attacker and Warlord and all those early bands, and I was like, man, I wish we could get more stuff like this. And there really wasn't anything at the time until Hammerfall came along with Glory to the Brave. Mm-hmm. And when that came out, I was like, holy shit, yes! But then I really just didn't climb on that power metal wagon much after that.
I have.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it much anymore.
Because, I don't know, maybe I'm influenced by you guys.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not going out there looking for as much. But also, I don't, searching Bandcamp all the time, I'm not seeing that much
it's not.
pop up on Bandcamp and stuff all the time.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
And a lot of the power metal now, I like it more your classic, I use this word for lack of a better one, cheesy power metal, like your
Blind Guardian.
Not even your Blind Guardian, like your
Hammerfall,
like your Dragon, not Dragon, whatever it is,
Dragonheart.
Yeah, stuff like
you're thinking of.
You know what? They think where the dragon lies bleeding. My God, but those bands, Rhapsody of Rhapsody, your classic power metal. Now a lot of power metal seems like it's shifting into the Sabaton style, a little more hard hitting,
which I like, because I'm a big Running Wild fan, and I was always like, more bands like Running Wild, please. And Sabaton was one of the first bands that actually kind of went in that vein.
They're a big time favorite there. That's one of Glenn's big bands. And I didn't watch. I listened to him out in the foyer area, the the food and bar area. Man, they crushed it. I was like, I don't know if I'm into the stuff, but this is really, I would enjoy it just for watching them play.
Yeah.
I like more of your the vocals, more of your, Falconer style vocals, more Hammerfall style.
Well, in case I didn't mention it and it wasn't clear, I did buy tickets for both the Friday and Saturday shows.
Apparently
so
that was
I am
smooth
going.
for you, right?
What's that?
I said apparently it was a smooth process for you.
Oh yeah, totally smooth. And from what I understand, nobody had problems getting tickets at all.
Boy, to say
Said no one, right?
Yeah, to say Glenn wasn't slightly pissed with being under. He was, yeah.
So tell us about it, guys. Who dropped the ball?
Ticketmaster.
Yeah, on our script here, let's just say it's the Ticket Bastard Power Prog fiasco of 2015.
Yeah, he was pissed.
I was all. I don't often find myself in the button mashing game of trying to get tickets anymore because it's not something that's going to sell out or anything like that. But I was so like I have to go to this that I was there 10 minutes before tickets went on sale, refreshing every 30 seconds just to make sure my clock's the same as theirs.
He was there naked, high speed, low drag. And he is ready.
And the tickets went on sale at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. As soon as it flipped over to 10 a.m., I refreshed again, and it was like, okay. And I selected one ticket, please. And it was like, sorry, nothing matches the criteria. And I was like, no. And so I was like, it was like, but there could be a lot of people. Try again. And so I went over and over, and I did it like 10 times, and I'm like, I cannot believe it instantly sold out. That is such bullshit. And I think I texted John and was like, no.
But you already had one, right?
Yeah, because I just sent my money in. But what's funny about this story is I'm getting messages from George and getting messages from my buddy TR. What's going on here?
And John's just sitting back.
I'm in the car driving to Tyson's.
Okay.
To go to CXI. I went to buy some pounds. I'm going to England next week, or coming in a couple days, and I'm getting ready to buy money, and my phone's just blowing up. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, so I'm on the phone with these guys. I'm exchanging money, and that was a crazy.
I'm picturing George like going to the purchase now button and literally pushing purchase now, and like all the power in the neighborhood going. Just out.
I was probably less pissed and more disappointed, just like, I can't believe it went that fast. I mean, it's not that big a place from what I could see in the pictures.
About
1,000
people.
Is this a multi-day ticket you were trying to buy?
Yeah, there's the 2-day ticket.
Is that what everybody normally buys, John?
That's the only option.
Oh, yeah. It is. So you have to buy both days.
He's had it in the past where it's been single days, but I think he anticipated this was going to sell, and it did. It sold fast.
Sounds like he's pretty in touch with his fans and very receptive to them.
His wife is a social media queen. I mean, that's
great.
not a knock at all. I mean, she really promotes from that end, and he works his butt off. They have so many issues with the visa coming in for bands. I think they spend probably 80% of their time dealing with that than they do the festival.
I bet.
Sounds like what Maryland Death Fest has the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that those guys have more of a bigger backing to bring these bands in, and he finally had to hire a lawyer to handle this.
Wow.
Because and the lawyer is just pulling his hair out too. I mean, they go through a lot of work just to get this done.
Yeah,
and he's like, isn't he like a emergency room nurse or something? This guy, I mean, this is not what he does for a living.
No, this is all. Yeah, it's all on the side. This is just because he's a metal lover.
Yeah,
and that's how it started.
It'd be like you guys putting on the show.
I know, we are so not committed. We don't put on a show. I mean, we put on this show, but not a show.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm all bummed out. And John was like, well, get on the forum and see what's going on. Maybe there's a problem. And I'm like, why? There's no problem. Okay, fine. I'll go look. And I went on the forum and I saw like a half a dozen other people that were just like, what the hell? It was instantly sold out or something. And somebody was like, yeah, there's got to be a problem going on. So I was like, all right, I'll keep trying. And for like the first half hour, I would periodically refresh, try it again. It wouldn't work. And I'm like, I told my wife, I was like, I guess I'm not going. And then I heard from John that the phone lines were working. And I'm like, wait, you can buy tickets over phone? Well, I haven't done that in 25 years.
Yeah. Did you have to actually phone the pass to purchase them? Hello, this is,
exactly. I was like, hello, 1985? I'd like some tickets.
I'll go to the Sears Ticketmaster outlet.
Yep, I used to camp outside of the Hudson's. I don't know, has anybody heard of Hudson's? That might have been just a Michigan thing. But it's like a Sears or a Penny's or whatever. And, I camp out there for Metallica tickets. And
now, ours was Bass Tickets, the original That's where Ticket Bastard started.
Yeah.
You know, when Bill Graham finally got on his clutches into what, Ticketron, I think it was, and he merged it with Bass, if I'm not mistaken. And then it all went downhill from there.
You know, there was a great, years ago, like back when the Michael Keaton Batman movies were coming out, there was a top 10 list, and it was the top 10 bad guys in the new Batman movie, and like one of them was the Ticketmaster, which I always thought was so appropriate, dude.
Yeah.
So surprisingly, I was all ready to like give a spiel to whoever was on the other end of the phone about, man, you know, I don't know, your shit doesn't work, but can I order? It was completely automated.
That's crazy.
I was like, whoa. So I don't even have to talk to anybody. I can just get tickets. Wow. If only there was like a computer thing where you could do that. But
if only I could go through life not talking to anybody. That's what George has
That's
tried
sweet.
to do.
Yeah, that's why I started a podcast, so I don't have to talk to anybody.
But was it, so there was just a web issue, long story short?
Yeah.
Or what?
He was on
So
Ticketmaster's end.
Yeah, Ticketmaster's end. But eventually they did sell out, right? You guys,
Yep, it is sold out now.
It's the fastest sellout they've ever had.
Wow.
It was 9 hours.
It would have been faster, it sounds like, had they had
What's
everything
that?
running. It would have been faster if everything had been running okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
John, you mentioned in the Wilderun interview you saw this first like a 300-person venue. Mm-hmm. Do you see them growing beyond this to maybe moving it to similar to a Maryland Death Fest setup where it's maybe outside to incorporate maybe double the amount of people?
It's been talked about, and I think he prefers the smaller setting, because I think there was a time when he was ready to call it quits.
Really?
The volume wasn't there. In the last 3 years, it's just, for whatever reason, it's absolutely exploded. Yeah, he's talked about moving it, but I think he likes the intimate setting. He's been there now since 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, you know. And you'll see when you get there, it just ends up becoming more of just a big party the whole time. And some people, I don't know if they even go to see some of the bands.
John, is it
That's the way we are at Death Fest. It's like
you just hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, that's how Death Fest was this
having
year.
A beer,
some of the
relaxing.
bands I didn't care about. It was like we were hanging out with the nine circles guys. You know, Dan and Corey, Kevin was there. Just a lot of time it was just hanging out, drinking beer, walking around the tents. Even though you had passed them 4 or 5 times,
keep going back.
Just keep going back, just looking. Yeah, just hanging out. And even if the music was just in the background, you're just there around the environment, just people watching.
Yeah.
Now, is the crowd an older crowd?
It's a mix.
Is it
top to bottom?
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys like myself that are starting to get up there, but have been there a long time. There's young kids. There's people bringing their kids now. It's across the board. I think
that's cool.
That's wild. I sent John a picture the other day. My little brother actually works directly across the street from the venue, so I was like, "Oh, sweet! I know where it is then."
There's 3 venues in that building.
Really?
Yeah, which is really funny.
It doesn't look that big.
No, it doesn't. When I saw Ashes Aries in that first night, that was in the top venue, and that holds like 650 people. And you walk in, you wouldn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then they got a little dinky one that's kind of like a bar setting that holds like 300 people. So
safe to assume you and John next year will be doing recording.
That's my plan. Is I'll bring along the recorders, and you know that's assuming John cares to be seen with me. I know he's got friends and all. He might be like, I don't want to be seen with this guy. I'm hanging out.
Merrier, man.
Hanging out with the cool kids. But
I've probably gone to most of these by myself and hardly talked to anyone the whole time. I talk to people here and there, whatever.
Then you know what? Then George is your perfect guy to take along.
Let's talk to nobody together.
So Jay, nothing's changed for next year. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
I'm happy for both you guys because I know the years I've been best friends with George. He's mentioned this numerous times, and I'm happy that my friend.
I will when they play, when Fate's Warning plays. You probably won't want to be standing near me because I'm going to be the guy that's like in tears, fetal on the ground, sucking my thumb, rocking back and forth, going, "This is awesome."
That's okay because I'm old and I'll probably be sitting down watching it. Yeah, I mean, when I saw Arch Matheos up in Connecticut when they came, and they only did a couple dates in the States, I think, on that tour, and so they did the first 2 songs with Arch Matheos, you know, and then it comes out. John says, "Yeah, well, we're gonna play some Fate's Warning stuff." You know, and you hear that first chord from Awaken the Garden, you're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And it just come out. But that was the Arch Matheos band, though. So it was still basically Fate's Warning, just with a different singer. The current version of Fate's Warning.
After I got my tickets, I haven't told anybody this yet, but after I got my tickets, my wife had gone out shopping, so I was the only one home. I came downstairs, I put Awaken the Guardian on the Sonos, cranked it up, and I was like thrashing around the room, and I was in tears. I was like, and that was when I realized I have a lot of issues wrapped up in this album.
It's a great album.
You know, you have albums that you listen to for various reasons, and you know, I in one of the, I think it's the last episode, I mentioned a friend of mine that passed away, Jeremy, who the song "Guardian" specifically reminds me of him. But I realized there's a lot more issues wrapped up in this album for me, and it's just like it's going to be just amazing to see this.
It'll be cool. It'll be cool to see stuff from all 3 albums.
Yeah,
definitely.
Apparition.
I want them to play Pirates of the Underground.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to hear that. You know, so yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've been talking for almost half an hour about the first of our like 50 topics, maybe we ought to move on. Buke went to a show recently. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes, Will and I went to the Ghost show.
Whoa. Go back and finish that thought. Yes, you almost said yes, Jay and I, which is nice. You said yes, Will and I.
It was a spur of the moment thing. I wasn't even
Spur of the moment.
I wasn't even going to be going. 12 o'clock the night before, I'm at work. I'm like, let me see if I can get leave and just go to the show tomorrow. I'm not so high on Ghost's new album. It's okay.
I don't understand that.
It doesn't sound like Ghost. It seems like they're...
It sounds more like Ghost than the last album did.
Yes, but it still seems like they're trying to like be a joke of themselves, if that kind of makes sense. It's hard to describe. It just doesn't sound like the first Ghost. It seems too fancy. But I also wanted to bring up a quick point that Will brought up, and I agree with him. The show is kick-ass. And Will says, if this is the only way that I hear Ghost from now on, I'll be totally fine with that. You know, the albums, he says, are kind of boring. I said, you know, the first one I liked a lot, but they were amazing live. And so I just want to bring up that point that, you know, if I never hear Ghost again, but I see him live, I'll be fine with that. It was a pretty cool show. You know, Papa took off the robes. Like the second set, they kind of did an acoustic song. They did some of their lighter songs.
I liked the look when he took the robe off. I was like, that's pretty badass.
But it's just, you know, Ghost is the crowd that's there for Ghost now. A lot of females there.
You know, they are almost, and they're not, it's not to their blame, but they're kind of becoming a hot topic band, man.
Very much.
Yeah.
And that's what that's how I was trying to describe the music now.
That crowd is
they're becoming very
hip.
But that's because they're melodic and catchy, which is to be expected. But frankly, I think the new album's way better than the first album. I mean,
haven't listened much.
It's you know, the first album was cool because it had that like Merciful Fate kind of vibe, which was melodic and catchy. Second album, they tried to be a little too creative and weird, and they lost everybody. It wasn't very melodic. It's just kind of weird. They've come back to the melodic, but advanced the songwriting a little bit, I think. It's a little cleaner. It's a little more structured and sophisticated than the first album. I love the first album, but oh my God, I mean, if there wasn't so much other stuff out there, I could easily put this as like a top 3. It is so good.
You know, it's funny.
But it's not metal.
Believe it or not, I kind of side with Buke on this. I listened to it. I don't like it as much as the first one. And I was listening to a record yesterday that kind of drove home to me why, which is, have you heard In Solitude's sister album?
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Well, that was the last one, right?
I would prefer Ghost, Ghost
I like
was more like that right now. That's what I'm more into, that slightly retro sound, which is the new one's still sort of retro.
It's just too poppy.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's the whole point of what they're doing is they're taking something that's so accessible, and yet it's evil.
And the thing is, though,
you know, it's evil themed. It's taking Britney Spears or Justin Bieber and turning it into something that, you know, if the fans read the lyrics, they would be appalled. You know, that, oh my God, I can't believe this song. They're talking about worshiping Satan. And, you know, it's almost a fuck you to the people that like the kind of music that it sounds like. It's almost like a bait and switch kind of thing. It's like, oh, here's your accessible pop hooks, but ha, Satan. And I fucking love that about it. I mean, it's definitely what's the word? Sort of like baby metal. It's something that's it's a novelty item.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I, you know what? And I have to be honest with you. Other than live, I hate to kind of go here, but I agree with Buke. I hate to agree with Buke. And no, it's, you know what? The novelty is kind of worn off. You know, for me, that's all. And not live though. I still get it live, but I didn't listen to that new record very much. I thought I was gonna.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Well, I'll say something, but hopefully won't start a shitstorm. But I view Ghost like Deaf Heaven. I know people hate Deaf Heaven with a passion. It don't bother me so much. And I know we've gone back and forth a little bit about that. That's cool, I get it.
And we're going to be getting into it more later.
And I'm curious about that because this album is a little different for them. But I view kind of Ghost like that. I kind of feel like they've kind of got... There's true metalheads that like them. And then there's these kind of like hipster doofuses like, oh, wow, cool metal.
You know what? Yeah. There's been a lot of bands like that over the years. Actually, I'm hard-pressed to think of one, but where there was a true kind of genius going on there, but it was so picked up by the outside world that you questioned your own taste for it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have to say, George is getting ready to drop a bomb today, but that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, there's bands that the masses like, and you can listen to them and realize this is just formulaic bullshit that's been, spoon-fed to these people. And then there's bands like Ghost that there really is something there.
But they're changing who they are to play to those masses.
But that's the thing is that's what they did with the second album. They thought, but that didn't work out. Like I said, I think the third album is much more like the first album. It's just just a little more mature, and. What made the first album so great was that it was so hooky, because there's just no hooks in metal anymore. I mean, if they are, they're really subtle.
But again,
because nobody likes.
You couldn't even put Opeth's last album on a top list because you said it wasn't metal. So we can't even have
that was prog rock. I'm just not into prog rock.
It is. Yeah.
So we can't. Ghost cannot make a year-end metal list.
But it is still metal. It's just you can't say that Ghost is not as heavy as metal from the 80s. And you still call that metal. Quiet Riot was metal in 1983. They're that heavy, easily. So it's still metal. It may not match the standards of what is metal now, but it's still metal.
I don't know.
Power metal.
This should be a video. I wish this was a video podcast because there were some powerful looks there during that conversation. Buke's whole rebuttal was dead stare. It was good. I liked it.
Because I'm stupid and I can't formulate the words to...
I'm not saying you're wrong. You like what you like. I'm just saying I don't think you can say that they're not metal. You can say that you don't like them. Opinions are opinions, Well, it is what it is. But
I think this is a common theme with a lot of bands now.
Yeah, sure.
I really do.
Yeah.
But you know what? You cannot knock them.
Oh, no.
They are going on a 4-month tour. Stopping in every city that has any fucking population to it.
Playing a sizable
They're going worldwide also.
I love that they're going to go around the world and take everybody's fucking money.
Yeah. Guys, the Fillmore was absolutely packed.
Oh, it's still good for metal because people are still thinking they're metal.
Yeah.
Yes. So. Exactly. I might not think that they're that metal, and I have a hard time trying. If you were to play them for somebody who's not a metalhead, and what the preconceived notions, what they think metal is, Ghost would not be that band.
Yeah.
Right. But
because most people who listen to metal, who don't listen to metal, what do they think of metal? Screaming.
Nowadays, yeah. But I mean, that, like I said, there's power metal. Power metal doesn't scream. Power metal's catchy and melodic, but it's still metal. It's just a different kind of metal.
This is what happened with me with Mastodon. Same thing.
Really?
After Crack the Sky, I was like,
that's not metal.
It was, but it was metal for people who don't like metal.
Yeah.
Crack the Sky or the Hunter?
After Crack the Sky.
Yeah, I still like them okay, but I got off that trail as deeply as I was on it after Crack the Sky.
Yeah,
they were really something special before that.
And I love Crack the Sky. I got the whole prog thing because they kind of wanted to experiment a little bit with their sound. But the Hunter, and I don't even know if the last one's even called.
Once More Around the Sun.
Was it? Yeah. And I listen to those, and I go back and listen to Remission and Leviathan, and I'm like, this is like two different bands.
It's two different bands.
Even though they're still playing similar style music. For me, it's two different bands.
March of the Fire Ants. You're not going to hear that from their new stuff now.
No.
And it's a shame. I mean, and it's cool. They're welcome to do it.
Yeah.
They really are. And like Buke, I think Buke and I liked those two later records more than probably you and George did. But I still want my Crack the Sky Mastodon back for sure.
Yes.
They climbed the mountain and made a masterpiece, and then they were like, no, let's make a kind of a pop record.
A masterpiece.
Yeah. And they were great live in those early years.
Yeah.
They really were. Just nonstop for like an hour and a half. You're like, man, my head hurts.
Yeah.
I need a break.
All right, let's move on because we are going to get back into a conversation similar to this a little bit later. Have you guys heard about this ELP laser turntable?
No.
A friend of mine told me about this the other day, and it's a turntable that doesn't have a physical needle.
There's no cartridge on it.
You put it in like you would to a CD player, and the vinyl goes into the player, and it plays it with a laser, and so it doesn't degrade the vinyl. You can play it forever and ever, and it'll never, put grooves in your vinyl.
And you're not going to get the constant sound of,
Is this like an all-in-one too?
Yeah.
I've seen these. They're like
and
the real thin boxes kind of.
No, it actually looks like one of those '80s like all-in-one things.
Something different.
It's only $15,000. So I expect we should all have one
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe when it goes a little more mainstream. But it was kind of cool. So I was like, wow.
But I have to say, I'm not really. I mean, I know this is an oddity as much as anything. The reason you're bringing it up, George, but I think the needles are probably pretty quality too. Like, I don't expect any major degradation from my vinyl collection at this point. I mean, any of my records, there's no way they're going in more than once a week, especially now that the collection is, getting up there.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, but also I kind of like that old intimate analog kind of version of things anyway. So I probably wouldn't, even where these are affordable, I probably wouldn't even be interested in trying it.
Yeah, their big thing is they're just saying the big point, like George said, the point that they can't get behind is that the nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I'm not too worried about mine wearing out.
Yeah, me neither. It's just kind of cool.
Because George has
totally interesting to hear about.
All right. So, recently, Jay was telling Buke and I that we really had to go listen to this interview over on the Metal Sucks podcast with Dave Windorf of Monster Magnet. And this past week, I finally got around to actually doing that. And I agree with Jay. It's a great interview. And Dave's a really cool guy. And he made a point that it resonated with me. He said that, back in the 70s and the 80s when people were kids and growing up, they really identified themselves with their music. Kiss fans were the Kiss Army, and the Aerosmith fans were the Aerosmith fans, and you were, and when I was in high school, we were metalheads, and we dressed the part, and our music told you who we were. And today, as Buke so often says, music is in the background. Nobody identifies themselves through their music anymore, which is why music isn't such a big deal like it used to be.
It's because we live in a Spotify world and a single world of, what is just to say, a world of singles. I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but that's the other thing. I mean, there's so many things. Like, the art of the album has really died, I mean, at least people don't get. I think it's an attention span thing. I think I don't know what it is, actually, what you're talking about, the identification thing. I don't. Well, go ahead, Buke, because I got nothing on this.
Because
but I agree.
It's extremely simple. Because when you guys were growing up, you didn't have the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't have the cell phones. You didn't have 800 channels. You didn't have every football game if you wanted it. Every hockey game.
Didn't have televisions or cars.
You didn't have
shoes.
You had CDs and cassettes, and you would sit there and you would spin those. Now, if you're a kid, you have an Xbox that can play games, that can surf the web, that can play music, that can play movies. You have a cell phone in your hand. So while you're playing hockey, you're also talking to your friends. You're also, what's the easiest way to do it? You're playing Pandora. You just play. It's all just, because it's just there for you. If you don't have to work for it, you don't love it as much.
It's disposable.
The times they are a-changing.
What do they always say, like the old thing, if you work hard for it,
you appreciate it more.
You appreciate it more.
Yeah, when you had to save up, 3 weeks allowance to go out and buy one single cassette tape, or, even more, or whatever, or had to go out and get a job after school so that you could, scrape together the money to get the new Metallica album. And then, when Master Puppets came out, that was the only thing I listened to for the entire summer of 1986. It's the only thing.
If I'm right here on my phone, guys, with Spotify, we can type in any genre, and there are hundreds, thousands, if not millions of bands and albums at our fingertips.
Yeah.
If you're a kid and you're just being introduced to that for the first time when your friend shows you that, how are you going to have any attachment to anything other than, I really like that song?
It's almost more about the technology.
Because all it is just a picture on the screen. It's just a couple, it's just a track. It's not like, John, when you would go to the store and remember getting that CD, opening it and flipping through. You still remember probably the inside of liner notes, what they look like, what the CDs.
I remember getting, cassette sheets of paper that you would go through and look for albums that were imports and say, can I order this? And the guy would look, okay, it's going to cost you this much. It'll be here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, me too.
And you'd wait for you'd run down to that record store. It didn't come in today, maybe next week.
Yeah.
I literally did that exact thing, John. And I also I used to tell, I would have friends who would come over to my house who were sort of shocked at the amount of cassettes and records I'd have. And they would be maybe non-music fans. I didn't do this because I tried to do it. I just was so intimate with my collection. I'd be like, well, pick one up and ask me what the third song on side 2 is. You know what I mean? Like, I can always do that.
To someone who doesn't know Wilderun now, guys, they could pick up their phone, they could pick up their laptop. Within a minute, they could instantly have access to 30 bands that sound like them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why getting back to the point with all this is that a lot of people might not identify themselves with it, because how can you when it's
one of 8 billion things in your life at any given minute.
When it's just a digital image on the screen.
Yeah, and everything else is vying for your mind time too. The other thing I want to just kind of throw out one thing about Dave Windorf, because he's kind of on my try to get him for an interview list right now. But I would also say the last maybe 3 Monster Magnet records are really all about this. Seriously, like the lyrics, though he writes in a lot of metaphors, are all about basically the death of the cool parts of the scene and the way it used to be and the way you used to go into your bed. Look at the cover of the new record. It's basically his bedroom, I assume. It's probably not really his, from the 60s, the one they just released, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where Dave lives, and he regrets where we're at now. I think.
We've talked here on the pod before about metal fans being the most loyal. Spotify released that thing. We talked, it wasn't of the genres that a lot of us listen to. But again, I think some of this doesn't apply to metalheads as much as other genres.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Probably
Every single day of the week, speaking for myself, when I'm not at work, I'm wearing a metal shirt. Yeah. Or a Capital shirt because it's hockey season.
Me too.
I can identify George as a metalhead. If I see you, 9 times out of 10, John, you identify you as a metalhead.
Or a beer drinker.
Yeah.
Or both.
Or both. Yeah. Or both. Or a model.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. So it's just
plus
there.
Size.
Yeah, it's just so it's with each generation coming, it's only going to get less and less and less as people. I think as other genres become more popular. Like I see it right now online. The electronic music is blowing up. Kids just dancing around stupid, thousands of them at a time. I don't understand it at all. Well,
I think you're right, though, dude. I think I do like the point you were just making, though, Buke, which is of There may be other genres that are similar, and I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I think metal is the one that is least like what we're talking about now, which is to say it's the one that still has liner note readers and devoted collectors and people who identify with it.
But Jay, I just thinking about that right there, though. You look back to when we interviewed the Perihelion kids. Perihelion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, actually, that's a good point. I didn't even think. Yeah.
Anch said that he had never bought an album.
Okay, yeah. I didn't
Everything was downloaded.
That. Yeah.
And he's in the scene.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
So
I want to kind of transition this into the next thing, which is something I noticed the other day on Facebook. This may be less so for Buke, but perhaps for...
I was going to say, I'll tap out.
For Jay, John, and myself, the people that you grew up with that were into metal, that you learned about the bands early on and, you bonded with at those times. And, 25, 30 years later, some of those people, they've just stopped listening to metal altogether.
Oh, sure.
But then there's some people who still call themselves metalheads. And then you see them post something on Facebook about how fucking awesome the new Black Veil Brides is. Or the new Five Finger Death Punch. Or something that I've never even heard of that was just it was an abomination. That was what, this was. I was like, this was a guy I went to school with, we learned bands from each other back in the 80s. And he posts this stuff on Facebook that's just so bad. And I'm like...
What happened to you, man?
What happened to you, man?
You used to be cool, man.
I wanna extend a hand and bring you into the.
You could have been one of us.
Yes,
you were supposed to be the one.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna cut your legs off and let you burn up in lava.
You were supposed to be the one. Yeah. So John, George, and Jay, are you guys the last of your metal brethren?
I mean, have you guys experienced that too?
Oh yeah, definitely. But I was always the most hardcore of the group of people I knew.
I know John says he's going by himself to Prague. Years ago, were you going with a friend?
Here and there. Two of the friends that are going with us this time have gone before.
Okay.
I think that's just because it's a matter of who's playing. Mm-hmm. But
I think in the broader sense, for my part, George, most of my fans were just more casual listeners in general. I mean, they weren't, but some of them were big fans. But I was always the one who was like, "You got to hear this band." I was the one who brought that to the table, and most of them, I don't know.
I was always the OCD guy who was just I always had way more cassettes and stuff because I would spend every dime and do whatever I had to do to just get everything because I'm OCD like that. Yeah. But this guy that I'm talking about, he was definitely one of the hardcore, elite of our circle, and it was just man, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And this actually leads me into my next item, which I thought about last night while I was in the car driving back from Pennsylvania. And I was curious if other people did this too. And again, Buke might not be quite old enough for this one, but you might. I have a fixed point in time that I use to figure out when things happened. And for me, everything in the universe revolves around 1984 and the Detroit Tigers winning the World Series. I was 13 years old when that happened. And my wife and I were in the car, and she was like, "What year did Top Gun come out?" She was like, the question was, what grade were you in when that came out? And we were like, okay, it came out in 87. 3 years after the Tigers won the World Series, I was 13. And so if I was
13 plus 7 equals Tigers equals Satan's walking the earth.
1984, I was in 6th grade. So 3 years later means I was in 9th grade when Top Gun came out. And I use... it's this weird math that's not really math, but, it's how I figure out how things happened in the past. Did you guys ever do anything like that? Or am I just a fucking crazy person?
No. It's your emotional abacus.
Yeah.
No, I definitely do too. There's all kinds of things like that I have where I attach and more to the point of the pod, there's records that way too, that I'm like, well, that was 2 years before.
Actually.
I think I do that more like you, Jay. I think I associate more with records.
Yeah, because I do that with Master of Puppets. I'm like, I know Master of Puppets 1986, boom, okay. And it's the same idea.
Yeah. And that was the summer that this happened, and that means that Uncle Joe died in 1987 or whatever. You know what I mean? You can figure it out.
Yeah.
I couldn't do sports because the Niners were just winning every Super Bowl in the 80s. So I mean, it's all blur. That
Remember the third time they won the Super Bowl?
1988.
Yeah, see, there you go. All right, well, it was just something that occurred to me last night that I wanted to see if other people did that too, or if I was just a freak.
No, I think it's common. Yeah, I think that's common.
Excellent. All right. So Buke and I were talking recently about how much cattle decapitation has evolved from their older grindcore days. And I was listening to Pig Destroyer the other day, and I was like, could they evolve? I mean, obviously they could, but, what do you think that would be like? And do you think they ever will? Or will they stay what they are and just always be Pig Destroyer?
If you remember, they released a doomy EP.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, it was still kind of harsher Pig Destroyer vocals.
Yeah.
But the sound was a little doomy, experimental.
That was the latest release, too.
Yes,
Duke.
it was.
So that implies, at least, that they are possibly turning a corner right now.
I don't know how accepting their fans would be, though.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure early Cattle Decap fans are probably like, fuck them now. Because they're so different.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It was just like sort of I wonder. Sort of
I wonder,
Marvel what if.
It would be okay with me. I mean, I like them just as they are, to be honest with you. I think they are a little more approachable than early Cattle Decapitation was. And I think they can consider themselves more of a hardcore band than like a grindcore band. But that's neither here nor there. Those guys got great riffs and stuff, dude. And the truth is that I would like to see them do something a little more stretched out and structured.
Yeah, something with longer songs. I mean, obviously that 2-song EP, the songs were a bit longer. But, I was listening to a Book Burner, and I'm like, it's like 1 minute song, 2 minute song, maybe a 3 minute song. I was like, I'd like to hear them do something a little longer that's a little more developed.
Well, like Cannibal Corpse's last record, by the way, the Skeletal Domain those songs were all like 3 minutes and above, and they do a lot of shorter songs, and I enjoyed that more than their previous couple because they did focus like that.
Yeah, they were definitely trying to do something a little different.
But I also kind of want to just take a second here to say that the Cattle Decapitation has quickly become a kind of a pod favorite right now.
I was going to say that if Jay didn't say it. John, have you listened to the album?
No.
I think you will be now.
Yeah, for a band that started out like a grindcore band, this album is amazing. This album hits so many different genres.
It does.
It doesn't go like it's not like Opeth, clean vocals that crazy for them, but it's pretty amazing.
It caught us all by surprise this year, and it's this one that we didn't talk about that much, but it kind of creeped into everybody's playlist. And Buke and I have mentioned to each other almost once a week that we're just like, dude, I keep listening to this
Probably
thing.
my number 2 now.
Nice.
I worth and totally worthy of that. It's going to be way up in my list too.
Right on. Well, I don't know. Maybe we should get into this Wilderun interview now. What do you think?
Sounds good.
We'll rock it.
All right.
Can I just say this before we get into it?
Of course.
When it was proposed to us about getting them on the show, John was the first person I thought of.
Yeah, we were like,
John, thanks also for coming up on your Sunday.
I appreciate you guys having me here.
To be here and join us. I know it's a little bit of a hike for you, so thanks for coming up here with us.
As long as there's no traffic, it's fine.
I truly appreciate it.
And there was traffic.
There was traffic.
Truly
even on
it.
a Sunday.
And also, since people get on us about not mentioning what beers we're drinking, mention the beers that we've had so far.
So the first one we had is from Dark Horse Brewing, which is from Michigan. And we had something called Scary Jesus Rockstar.
It is so cool. And it tastes good, too.
And the reason for this is Jen and I were in Total Wine. And I said, oh, check this out. You think I should get this? She's like, how could you not? I said, I think the guys will dig this. It's a American Pale Ale with apricot, however you want to say it, and chamomile. So that's the first one.
It sounds comforting.
Yeah. Sounds so nice after a hard day at work. And then the next one I brought was a brewery that Jay could probably get out there in California anytime he wants, but we're just getting them now, which is Alpine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
And we had Duet, which is their Indian Pale Ale, which is excellent. And they've just started making their way back here because Green Flash Brewing owns them now.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll be getting a lot of their stuff. For years, their IPAs have been highly regarded, so kind of cool.
If you ever add John on Untappd, you're not going to catch him. So don't even try.
And we have 2 more.
Yep.
To consume they're pretty good. So
and we'll mention them. So
we'll get into the interview now with Evan Berry of Wilderun, and while you're listening to that, we're going to go refill.
This week's featured band. This week's featured band. This week's featured band. Listen to this now.
All right, we are here today with Evan Berry of Wilderun. How are you doing, Evan?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
All things considered, I'm doing quite well.
it's the DC area here for us. So trying to come in from where we come last night, I'm still reeling from Cap's opening night. So I didn't get to bed till late because my heart was fucking pumping as hockey returned last night. Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, you're from Boston area, right?
Actually, I currently live in Chicago. Wilderun formed in Boston, and that's kind of like our home base. But now we kind of live spread across the country, and we usually don't. We don't really. A lot of people don't know that because we don't post too much about where we're all.
Yeah, where you guys are all living and stuff like
and
that.
all that. I mean, not that I have any problem with saying it now, but but I'm currently in Chicago, actually.
Which is Immortal Bird country.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And everyone else. The only member of the band that's actually currently in Boston is our bassist Dan, and everyone else is kind of spread out. So,
but again, but he could live in Zimbabwe. He's a bassist.
Okay. Exactly.
Now,
But hey, speaking of hockey, it's a shame you moved away from a Stanley Cup team just to get such a crappy team where you live now.
Shots fired.
You a Boston Bruins fan?
or a hockey fan at
Or
all?
a hockey fan at all? Most guys we talk to are like, yeah, I don't. They tour so much or whatever. They're like, I don't care.
I'm definitely kind of in that field. Although I would certainly call myself a fair weather fan of the Blackhawks.
Okay.
But I wouldn't
weather-
pretend to know too much about it. But
You know what?
Well, I'll just tell you one thing: the weather's always pretty fair over there, dude. So you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
exactly.
There is nothing wrong with throwing on a Blackhawks shirt, grabbing a couple beers, and celebrating a Stanley Cup victory. Okay, there's every other year. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No shame. No shame.
Before we go any further, it sounded to me like I did not pronounce the band's name correctly. Is that the case?
Well, we usually call it Wilderun. That's how we pronounce it.
That's how I
knew it.
For once, I was right.
Yeah, see, I haven't, when you don't hear somebody else say it, you just kind of go with your best guess. And
Oh yeah, no, I totally understand. We usually, I would say, it's kind of 50-50 with how people decide to pronounce it. It's either Wildrun or Wilderun. Some people say Wilderun. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones that I can't even comprehend. So,
well, we're really big on
totally
pronunciation here. So, Wilderun, is it? That's right.
That's how we like to say
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Wilderun. That's the Zach Wild led project.
Right. Okay, Wilderun it is.
Well, that's okay because Evan, we met in Baltimore the last time you guys were there, or you were there with Immortal Bird,
Oh yes, of course.
and I was the guy who came up in the first two questions where I said the name wrong, and then I asked, "Well, when are you coming back?" And I'm like, "But they haven't even played yet tonight." So
right. Yeah.
I think you got more questions about Wilderun that night than about Immortal Bird. So
So, Evan, let me bring you up to speed how you guys came on our radar here. We do this podcast semi-regular, I'd say a couple times a month when our lives allow us to. And this year, for the first time, we did a mid-year list of our best albums of the year. Now, prior to that time, John and I had talked on Twitter and Facebook and exchanged some messages back and forth, but had not met in person. We sat down for that mid-year list, and, in the metal world, you like to have lists. Mm-hmm. And we hold those lists pretty
Sacred.
pretty sacred.
We did top 15, was it?
I think it was 10.
10?
But, I had some drinks, so I think it turned out to be like 13, 14 for me.
I think you got lost at 6.
Yeah.
But it gets to our number one, And John and I, who hadn't even mentioned it, both shared your guys' album as our number one album of the year so far, Sleep at the Edge of the Earth.
Wow. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
And I said, I had teased it when I started doing my list, and John kind of, bright-eyed looked at me like,
They were like, it has a mountainside on it. It's green.
Yeah.
So that's when him and I our friendship
Blossomed.
really exploded. And Jay and George, I could kick them off the pod. So where I was going with all this is that John and I love the album. I have seen.
So do I.
And George does
We're all
too.
into it,
We're all
yeah.
fans.
Thank you so much.
This is when you guys, popped up on my radar. Are you starting to see worldwide reception of this album and a lot of people coming on board and loving it like we are now?
Definitely more. Yeah. I think this album, we definitely have had some good fans that have, been with us since we released the first album in 2012. But I would say that, yeah, this new album, just because of, getting a little bit more press, a little bit more reviews and stuff like that, because of that, we've definitely gained a good deal more fans. And yeah, from all across the world. I ship out all the merchandise and all the CDs myself, and it's kind of cool to see, orders come in from, God knows where, just the most random countries. And I'm seeing more of that now the new album's come out. So it's really cool. Yeah. And it's really, we're really honored that, anyone really likes us that much.
It's pretty cool that, John and I had it on our list, but when you started researching more, John, you and I weren't alone in that.
No.
They've been popping up on a lot of best of lists so far.
I think I've gone through maybe 6, 7, 8 different sites and just nothing but praise.
Yeah.
And all for different reasons, which I thought was even better. It wasn't just for one thing. It was because I think the album's pretty multifaceted. I think there's a lot going on. There's a lot of layers to it.
It's like an ogre.
So
It's layers.
Yeah. So it just seems like a lot of people from a lot of different places are liking it for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I've been encountering the same thing, and I was wondering, given all this, seemingly positive, lots of positive attention, have there been any labels sniffing around your door, looking to possibly, reissue it under a label?
Unfortunately, not yet. No, we haven't really gotten anything in. Back when we released the first album, we had a whole set of time where we were just sending out press kits and copies of the album to labels that we thought might be interested, and we never really heard back. So we might try to do the same thing for this record. We honestly just really haven't had a chance yet to, because it's a big process to really put together physical press kits and
I
ship
got to
them
tell
out
you,
to all
this
the
is
addresses.
that answer is, it just reaffirms my belief that record labels suck. They don't know what's going on. If an album of this magnitude, and I don't mean to blow smoke up your butt or anything, but it is a really pretty fabulous album, and for it to be the A&R people out there are not picking up on this and at least asking some questions, then they're not doing their job.
It's tough. It's tough to know exactly what anyone's looking for as far as labels go. It's definitely a new industry than it used to be. The whole music business is really changing. So it's hard to know. There's so much oversaturation in the industry with bands, and now that it's all DIY with Bandcamp and everything, there's just so many bands that everyone knows about. That I guess it's hard to know if anyone's even heard us.
That's the question I was going to ask him. He has been a part of 2, probably you would say, the best albums of the year. And mentioning Immortal Bird, that album probably, you wonder how many metalheads have even heard that album.
And that is on a label, right?
It's on, I believe it's on a Broken Limbs recording.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have a hard time with Immortal Bird questions because Ray kind of handles all the business side of that. Like I'm very much just like, as opposed to Wilderun, where I kind of handled the business for Wilderun. Immortal Bird I'm very much just there musically, and
because let's admit she's a
stuff,
badass, and she can probably kick all our ass.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're working on getting her on here too. We've been talking to her, but with the tour and everything, she's been kind of busy.
I got a question I was sneaking here because you're talking about recording the album and that kind of thing, which is one of the first of all, it's great, as everybody says, but it's also sounds great, dude. So I would like to know if you recorded it at home, did you record in a studio, what'd you do?
We recorded it at, it's called More Sound Studios in Syracuse, New York. And that's where we've recorded both the albums. And the engineer, his name is Jocko, Jason Randall, but he goes by Jocko. And he's just a absolutely fantastic engineer, producer, mixer, pretty much everything. It's a mid-sized studio. It's not, they're not a huge studio yet. But we heard about the studio, I think, back in 2011 from our friends. There's a metal band from Syracuse called Freya, and we're good friends with those guys. And they showed me and a couple friends around the studio back in 2011, and we just loved it. We loved talking with Jocko and all of the work he had done. So we kind of just took a gamble and decided to record the first album there because we didn't really, we just thought it might be a good bet, and we loved it. And then when the second album came around, we thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it was, we've been really happy working with him so far. And to anyone out there listening, if you're in at all upstate New York area or basically anywhere in the country, definitely look into More Sound Studios because it's a phenomenal facility. So
cool.
Yeah, Jay, I'm glad you asked that because I don't know about you guys, but I listened to both albums, and I saw there's times I feel like just saying, fuck it, man, I'm grabbing my sword and I'm going. I'm going on this fucking journey.
Yeah.
Because it's the sound, it's a real full sound and it's so clean, but it doesn't sound processed.
Yeah.
No.
And it just, I'm on.
John, it's funny you mention it. We find a lot, and all four of us find a lot of our music on Bandcamp. And Bandcamp is good because anybody can, I don't know how many hoops you have to go through, but anybody can put their stuff out there. And with that, you listen to so much on Bandcamp, you're like, oh, the album art looks cool on this. Within seconds, you want to throw your headphones against the wall, hope that you can never hear music out of those headphones again.
For some bands, is what you're saying.
For some bands. But the instant I put you guys on, that full sound just washes over you, and you're like, instant.
You know what I want to say was about it is, to me, it sounds like you're already on a label because it just sounds like there's money in that recording.
Yeah,
great.
Like it's so exemplary. So anyway, hats off on that.
It's definitely. I mean, the production is definitely a big element for us, and we've always really valued that from the beginning of the band. Like we wanted to make sure that the first thing that we released, we wanted to skip the demo phase. We didn't want any of that because we kind of figured that for so many people listening to bands like this, the first thing they hear is going to really be their impression of the band forever. So we want to make sure that no matter what anyone out there hears, no matter what the first thing they hear is, it's going to be full quality. Like no demos out there, just only full quality recordings. So that was always really important to us.
Excellent.
It obviously worked with us, right? I mean, that's a good theory you've got.
There we go. Yeah.
Comparing the two albums, the first album, a lot of the folky elements were more like you would dance a jig to, something that was a little more grab a beer and swing the lass around, and whereas on the second album, the folk elements are a bit more like romantic, not as energetic.
Right.
There's more of an ethereal feel, I think, throughout the album.
Atmosphere. Yeah.
There was a question in here that I was getting to, which was, we usually ask people what their influences were, but I'm kind of curious as to what music outside of metal sort of influences or inspires you to do, the non-metal elements of the music.
Well, lots of stuff. I mean, obviously, a lot of like just traditional folk music, Celtic folk music. American folk music, of course. Just anything, anything that has a lot of, traditional elements. We obviously love old antique instrumentation and stuff like that. So, but as far as, we all listen to a variety of music that's outside of metal. It's kind of hard to say. It's hard to say what directly influences what we do, because whenever we're recording or arranging, we're never like, oh, let's have this section sound like this band or anything like that. We just want to make sure it just sounds like Wilderun. Right. But I'm sure that our various influences kind of more subconsciously seep their way into what we're doing. I'm trying to think of some artists in particular.
Evan, it's like, it's kind of, I could see, do you shrug off whenever you may read a review or may hear a comment from somebody, which again, this is not a negative, but like people may say, oh, I hear like an Opeth sound from them, because you're like, no, we're not trying to be like Opeth. We're just trying to be Wilderun.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with people making their comparisons, because because
it's the year. There's been thousands of years of music now. Recorded music's been around for decades now. You're not going to go out there and really do something that hasn't been laid down somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're definitely not at all ashamed of any of our influences. We all love Opeth, and I'm not going to deny that. I love that band.
Yes, that's John and I's favorite group.
Yeah,
yeah, they're amazing, and they were definitely one of the first groups that really had a important part in my musical life. And
what's your favorite? You have a favorite album by them?
Favorite album? I feel like with Opeth, it's always changing. I probably have to say Blackwater Park, but
there you go.
It kind of flip flops depending on the month or something.
That's my favorite, without a question, man.
Gun to head, that's probably what I'd say. But
you know what? There is a gun to your head, bro. So you got to pick something.
Well, that's interesting, because some of the stuff that I hear, me personally, I might be Opethian, if you want to use.
I like up that word.
It sounds like there's some morning rise a little bit, because you guys will go through some very aggressive moments and just slide right into a nice acoustic piece, and then you pull right back into it. And I kind of like how you do it. So that's just me.
I could see that. Yeah.
Opethian.
Opethian. Yes. New word.
John, you have some questions, yeah, buddy?
No, I think we're. One thing I wanted to ask you that just kind of, as we're in this current place right now, is, do you find that being in both bands, do you find that you kind of, when you're doing Wilderun, some of the Immortal Bird slides in? Because in a couple parts on this album, I noticed, like during the Garden of Fire, there's some guitar work in there. I swear you were playing something, same kind of aggressive play when I saw you play with Immortal Bird. And so I wonder, does it ever blur at all, or is it just kind of come out that way? Is that just your style?
I think that's it. I think it's probably the crossover is kind of like that style, that just innate way of playing that you can't really deny, that no matter how much you try to change it up, you're always going to have certain ways that you play and certain ways that you think about music, that it's kind of hard to deny those when you're making music. And I think that's okay. That's just personal style. But as far as Wilderun and Immortal Bird goes, it's, I just kind of get myself in a different mentality when working with either band, just try to kind of put myself in a different mindset, think about different things as far as atmosphere and energy goes. Yep. And right. Then, the crossover is more just that kind of, that subconscious style that I'm not even really thinking about. That's always going to be there.
No, and that's what I figured. It's just not to say that you're bringing Immortal Bird into Wilderun, but you can tell when someone's style is there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm wondering too. Do you get? I'm assuming you take a slightly more of a backseat in Immortal Bird, so you really get to just be a guitar player, right? Instead of like having to steer the bus and everything. And
absolutely, yeah, that's been nice. I love Wilderun, and I love my position in Wilderun, but it would be pretty hard to imagine having to do that for more than one band, as far as fronting it and dealing with so much of the business and just kind of having to. It's a lot of hours. So yeah, with Immortal Bird, it's nice. I I don't do too much live playing with them just because I'm involved with Wilderun. I'm also actually involved with another band called Replicire, which is a Boston-based death metal group.
Oh,
and
wow.
I do just vocals for them. I'm mostly involved as far as the creation of the music goes. I'm mostly just involved with arranging with that band, but I play live with them a decent amount, and obviously with Wilderun. So with Immortal Bird, it's just like, the third band I joined, I was kind of like, I don't know how much live playing I can actually handle right now.
I'm glad I saw you guys a couple months ago then.
Yeah, that was the first full tour I had done with the band. Before that, the only shows I had played were Chicago shows. So, I mean, it was great. It was fun. I had a good time. But it's more of just kind of a time commitment thing as far as my work goes and everything like that. But it was nice being able to just kind of be on the side of the stage, like just focusing on my guitar playing. I didn't have to worry about simultaneously, getting my voice ready and playing guitar and, kind of being the front persona. So that was definitely nice. It was nice for a change.
Yeah.
Cool.
To you just mentioned, your death metal side band also. Mike, of Opeth has come out a couple of times and said that the harsh, growling death vocals that he does is boring. Somebody like yourself who has that dynamic vocal range, could you see maybe what he's talking about? Do you enjoy that you do actually have the freedom to come out with Wilderun and sing your clean vocals and sing nice before you go into the harsh stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I like the diversity. I like being able to do both just because it's dynamics. It keeps things interesting. I think
contrast.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think I would have a hard time. In none of my bands do I just do the harsh vocals, and I think I might personally have a bit of a hard time if that was the case. Because I mean, I love death metal, I love heavy music, but I really value dynamics and change.
And that's what Mike seems to say too.
Yeah.
Well, I question whether Mike really values dynamics since he's dropping the death vocals. I'm sorry, but I just said that, and I am not that guy, but that doesn't sit well with me. I need Opeth to go back to. No, they can do what they want, but you know what I mean.
Okay, but now, Evan, though, do you find death metal vocals as a singer challenging compared to being able to sing clean and the range that you can hit singing clean? Because to me, I think there's just death vocals.
And which one requires more oxygen?
I guess it's just kind of different. It's kind of like just a whole different way of doing things and a different way of thinking about your voice. It's kind of honestly it's hard to compare really. I mean, obviously with clean singing, there is more range, there's more diversity, there's more things you can do at the end of the day, I think. But there is a lot of there is diversity to growling because there's higher growling, there's like higher screaming and lower growling, there's like more pitched screaming and just completely no pitched screaming. I don't know, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. So if you're creative about it, you can find ways of making growling dynamic, and it is difficult. It's definitely not just one thing. But it's, as far as breath goes, I would say that growling definitely. If you're full on growling, it's going to definitely use up your breath a lot quicker. But the important thing with growling, I think probably a lot of metal vocalists forget, is that you need to still use the same techniques that you'd use just doing clean singing. You need to be kind of singing from your diaphragm. You need to make sure that you're not using your throat too much. You got to make sure you warm up always. You got to make sure that you use your proper technique, or else you're going to blow out your voice the same as you would with clean singing, if not sooner. So.
Well, I just can't help it. I always want to giggle when I hear the word diaphragm. Sorry about that.
Oh, no.
Hey, bro, I was going to ask you, can we go back to the record for a second real quick? And I wanted to ask you about, the multi-part song that we've got there, or movement, which is tracks 2 through 5. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the inspiration for that. The inspiration for that.
It was originally written as one song.
Okay.
It was honestly like, it was just an 18-minute song when we first finished it. and we had like a lot of discussion about if we should just release it as one track or not. But we kind of felt that like it really had 4 very distinct parts that like really had their own identity for each movement. So we felt that we wanted to split it up just so people listened to it that way. So they listened to it as like they really thought about the 4 different parts on their own terms while understanding that it is one piece of music. Because if somebody, you release an 18-minute song and, some people might not have the patience for that, or just might think of the song a little bit differently. So,
like Iron Maiden's Empire of the Clouds.
Well, I do like Black Rose Immortal, though.
That's
oh yeah, I mean, there's great songs like that, but we just felt for this song that it was just, that the 4 parts really had their own identity, but also worked as a whole. So that's why we wanted to do it like that.
Cool. Who took the picture for the cover?
That was actually Dan, the bassist. His sister took that in Austria, and it was kind of just an awesome random circumstance where she was showing him some of the photography she had taken out there, and we saw that picture and we were just like, wow, I think that's it. Like we have been thinking about it, like thinking about a couple artists that might want to do the cover, but we didn't really have any distinct ideas about it. We were just kind of like just vague ideas, and we saw that and we were like, wow, like it just stuck out to us immediately, and we were like, I think we have to use that now. So
cool.
When it comes to songwriting, I'm sure you don't use like a formula, but when it comes to writing a new song, do you tend to start acoustically and then bring in the metal parts later, or would you write something heavy and then say, okay, now we got to put in some folk parts? Or I mean, I would assume it's probably both ways, but I was just curious as to if you had a method.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely different for every song. Every song kind of has like a different idea behind it, like a different base at which it starts. And you can kind of tell when listening to it. Like, for example, Garden of Fire was very much written on electric guitar, and you can kind of tell because it's a very metal, heavy kind of song. And like Linger, and the track after that was started on an acoustic guitar, obviously, and that's why the song turned out that way. And then Means to Preserve, actually, the last long song on the album. That whole song was written on the piano.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So I think that's why that song has like a little bit of a different characteristic to it. Like the writing style of that song, just it has a different flavor, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it was written on the piano. Because when you're looking at a different instrument, you are automatically going to be writing slightly differently just because of how the instrument is formed. And like with the piano, I always end up there's a song off of the first album called Storm Along, and that song was the other song written entirely on piano. And you can kind of tell with Means to Preserve and with Storm Along, just like the chord shapes are a bit different, like the way that the melodies are structured has a slightly different flavor, and yeah, it just kind of has to do with the tool that you're using, what is presented in front of you when you sit down with a new instrument. So
cool.
Evan, when you go into writing some of these songs too, I know you play mandolin. Do you go in there already knowing in the back of your head, this is a song that I'm gonna play that in, or do you like, the song's missing mandolin? That's it. We need more mandolin
and cowbell.
I feel like it's probably been more the latter. I feel like, as far as like the folk instrument stuff that we do with the mandolin or the dulcimer or the auto harp and stuff like that, it's usually more about once the song is finished, we want to figure out like colors that we want to put on top of it and ways
Garnish.
to just ways to like liven things up and just keep things different sonically. And yeah, I mean, there's probably been a couple moments where, as soon as the song was written, we had a general idea. Like I know, like when there's a song on the first album called "The Dying Californian," and the verse of that song, I think as soon as it was ready to go, we knew that we wanted that verse to be auto harp. just because it just, I don't know, it just called for it pretty obviously. But but for any other, for most of the time, it's more of us just kind of sitting down being like, okay, here's the song. Let's think about this section. What instruments could we use over this one? And we just get like really nitty gritty about it, just kind of thinking about every section individually, like what colors would work here, and what instrument, sounds the best with this melody that's already written. So,
yeah,
I like that. You know something, Joe? Go get your dulcimer. We're going to need it.
so Evan, that kind of brings me to this question, which is kind of the macro, the beginning of the album when you guys started. Did you have the melody in mind that you wanted for this album? Because every song has that melody, and you guys just tweak it a little bit. We played it a little differently, a little slower, a little different in terms of the instruments used, but it's throughout the whole album, and that's what I like the most about the album.
It's a theme.
You keep coming back to it without it being bombastic or in your face the whole time, because it just depends on how the song's going. It's either up or down depending on the volume. Is that how you guys started the album, or did it kind of just develop that way as you guys were working through it?
It's that the very first melody that you hear was definitely written a little bit later. The first song has two parts to it. There's kind of an A section and a B section. The A section, the very first part of it, was written on its own kind of later in the process, because when we kind of knew that we wanted to reprise it at the end and have like kind of a connecting between the beginning and the end. The B section of the first song, there's a reprise of that section in The Means to Preserve, and that part was written first in The Means to Preserve and then brought to the beginning later. So it's like kind of a lot of flip-flopping. Like it's a lot of, when the album is being created and the parts are being created, it's kind of a big mess. And then we just kind of over time just figure out exactly where everything belongs, and kind of just like, just kind of like finishing a puzzle kind of thing. So it's definitely a bit random, and every song and every section kind of goes through a different process. It's not one way of doing things. So,
Evan, playing this genre, does it present any complications playing live?
Oh yeah. Oh, so many. That's been like one of the biggest things, is that live we definitely have to do a little bit of rearranging, because obviously, first of all, we're only 4 people and there's many things happening at once on the record. But also we use backing tracks because we love to have the orchestral stuff there, obviously, and we'll put some of the folk instruments into the backing tracks just to have that color there.
You guys can't hire a touring orchestra. Jesus.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah, that doesn't cost anything.
That doesn't cost anything. I thought you could rent them for $1.50.
Just raking in all the money with folk metal. Yeah. No, but so I mean, there's certain things though that we have to kind of make some live decisions, like we have to take out certain things here or there. But we don't really try to think of it as like taking out things or not doing things live. We just rearrange it to like fit the live setting.
Definitely don't feel like you're like robbing anybody who comes out to see you guys. They're still going to see the full product.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there might just be like, certain things, like certain sections that sound a little different.
Of course, that you're going to get those Wilderun nuts who are going to be like, I saw it right there. It's different. I heard it. I told you.
Yeah, I don't know if we've had anyone like point out the specific parts yet, but maybe they're complaining behind our backs. I don't know.
I'll tell you.
But it seems to work so far. It's. I think we've figured out a system. So
cool.
Yeah, the live video on the site for Suncatcher sounds great. I think.
Thank you.
Knowing, you see only 4 guys, you're going to think, okay, they're not going to be able to play everything, but it sounds great. I mean, you still get both aspects, and they both blend really well. Yeah,
we just try to make sure that the band is tight. That just the core instruments of the metal band are tight as we can make them. And then we, just use the backing tracks to blend in all the other elements. So,
wow, that's so freaking cool.
One day, we definitely would love to get some more live instruments on stage if we can, afford to hire some more musicians. Like get mandolin, dulcimer, and all that stuff.
Oh, you know who's deep in that stuff right now? Maybe a Richie Blackmore appearance.
Oh yeah, one day.
Yeah.
But then you'll lose your band to Richie, and then you'll be all over from there.
This will be Richie Blackmore's Wilderun. Now speaking about also playing this kind of folky metal too, have you been contacted from any of the bands or fans from overseas where a lot of those pagan folky bands are really popular and are really successful over there?
Have you played over there?
We have not played over there. No, we'd love to, but we definitely have a lot of fans. I mean, I would say that like our fan base is definitely split, probably about 50-50 between the U.S. and anywhere else, I suppose. At least like if I had to guess, like I'd say 30%, maybe 40% of our fans are from Europe. So it's just obviously that scene is that's where the scene is over there.
See, but you know what though? You sing in English. You're ours.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not like Fintroll.
Yeah, I love a lot of those bands, but they don't sing English. And
Yeah.
I just
Love Fintroll. No idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, and I think your sound's more American too. I don't hear some of the trying to think of I can't think of any bands right now, but there's some that come off just so big and huge bombastic sound, and you guys sound much to my liking much better personally. I think it's a more even sound.
Thank you. I mean, we love all of those bands out there. Obviously, we've been influenced by a lot of other folk metal, pagan metal, whatever you want to call it, bands, and we love all that stuff. And just as with Opeth, as I was saying before, we definitely don't deny our influence from bands like that. It's all great stuff, but we try to, whenever we can, put our own flavor on it, make it our own. Try to just even though we're influenced by bands like that, we don't want to copy it. We just want to try to make it something organic. And I think that's going to be the goal of the band as we move forward, is just like always trying to see what new stuff we can do and how to kind of confirm our identity as much as we can. So
when you guys release an album like this with the success that it has, is with you're so busy with managing the band, do you have time to even see that and kind of be, man, because it's good to get that
Validation.
Yeah, that accommodation, everyone, because so many people are quick to throw negatives, and it's good when
It's nice to hear nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely get a lot of good fan emails and stuff like that, and
Well, I know the question's kind of given, but there are some bands who we've talked to who are like, we just don't go online and
That's true.
we just don't really
care what anybody says.
Yeah, we don't really care what people say. We just do our thing.
I mean, I don't know. Like I definitely love to hear it when someone really enjoys our music. I just like to know that the thing that we've worked really hard on can just make someone feel something good. Someone. A lot of people just say they'll listen to the record and it'll just make their day a little better or something, and that's awesome. That's like one of the main reasons why we do it. I mean, we do it when we're creating the music, when we're writing it, we do it for ourselves, of course. Like we never go into the writing process or into the recording process thinking like, oh, what's everyone gonna like? What are we? We try not to worry about that in the creative process. But when it's all said and done, when the record's out there, we love it when people tell us that they're enjoying it and can express to us how it's like helped them or something. Like that's amazing. That's like you can't really ask for anything better than that. So
you see the comments on Bandcamp, and the word, I hope they're not throwing it around willy-nilly, masterpiece is used a lot. I would totally agree.
Yeah, I've personally haven't heard any negative comments about it, which is kind of unusual in itself. I mean, I'm sure if I go on Blabbermouth, I can find trolls that'll rip on anything. But have you heard anything negative, but in a constructive sort of way, where you were like, oh, yeah, maybe you got a point there, or I mean, have you even? You must have heard something negative.
Yeah, come on, read us one of your bad reviews.
Well, I'm just wondering if anybody is actually giving constructive criticism, or if it's all just good reviews and trolls.
I mean, I definitely think it's mostly that. I mean, as far as constructive criticism goes, like I maybe got a couple things from more of my like close friends and acquaintances that I would maybe talk to about it. That would, and with close friends, I'll be like, hey, just be brutally honest with me. I don't want you to, try to be, nice about it or whatever. And at that point, I might get a couple criticisms about a couple things where, sometimes with the production or things like that. But as far as like anything online, any like, I don't know if I've seen any like really like scathingly negative things, but I've seen like a few reviews that are kind of more like, this is good, but this isn't anything new, or this is kind of like more run of the mill. And I could totally see like, some people hearing some of the influences that we get and then kind of thinking it maybe sounds a little too much like something else. But I feel like, you kind of get that for any record. But
yeah, I think it's the difference between people who listen to the whole record intently and people who just put it on and go, okay, I got the opening riff here, let's go track. You know what I mean? Like seriously, there are people who review records like that online. It's the real shame of online.
Right.
Yeah, run of the mill is about the last thing I would use to describe it. I mean, as someone who reviews music and listens to just tons and tons and tons of music constantly, run of the mill is definitely something I hear a lot. Mm-hmm. And what set both of these albums apart for me was that even despite the fact that I've heard a lot of folk influenced metal, this does not sound like anybody else to me.
And to compliment John's, what he said earlier, this is ours in a sense. This is American.
Yeah,
this is something
that is nice. Yeah,
it's
American.
Yeah, This is ours. This is made here in the States. Does that present a problem for you guys going forward if you were to try and tour more? Because other than like Winter Hymn, a lot of American folk bands, I can't really think of so many metal folk bands. Do you have a problem touring with
finding
like-minded bands to put together a package if you were to tour?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely been like a little bit of a struggle so far. Especially, because we just book our own tours and stuff like that, and we're very much doing the DIY thing. So whenever we come to a new city or we're trying to lock down a gig in a new city, like trying to put together a bill, it can be tough. I mean, we're definitely totally okay with playing with bands that are different from us. We're not, we don't want to make it like all the bands are the exact same. We like diversity, but it is nice to try to play with somewhat similar bands, just because not only is it a nice theme for the show, but then you get some fans coming in that they'll probably have a better chance of liking you if they're there for another band that's kind of similar. But in America, it's tough. Like there's limited. We play with a lot of thrash bands, just a lot of death metal bands, and that's great. I mean, I love that stuff, but it's it's tough to find. Yeah, a lot of similar bands. That's why we've done a couple tours with our friends of the band Aether Realm from North Carolina.
I love those guys.
Yeah, and they're folky, kind of melodic death, what have you. So it's definitely not like
Marthish.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not like they're not that similar to us, but it's in like a similar vein of kind of more epic metal, whatever. So that it works out for shows, and we're just all great friends. So it's been awesome.
I actually read something somewhere recently, or maybe I heard it on another podcast or something, but somebody was talking about how one of the problems with the metal scene in America is that people feel they have to do this. They have to lump like bands together. So it's a death metal show, or it's a black metal show, or it's a folk metal show. Whereas in Europe, like with Wacken and all these other festivals, you run the gamut, and
you go from Wilderun to Vital Remains.
Yeah, and for Europeans, it's just like they like it all. Whereas here, the American kids are so compartmentalized into I like only black metal. I can only go to a show if it's all black metal bands, and I think that's a problem here.
Yeah,
that's why we try to
It's a great point, guys.
Yeah, we try to make some make some shows with some diverse lineups whenever we can, as long as like the bands are quality. You know, the genre is a little less relevant than just the quality of the band. Like that's really the most important thing.
Because if you're preaching to the choir that it's all folk metal fans, you're not making any new fans. They already know about you. But if you're playing on a bill with a death metal band and a black metal band and a thrash metal band, you might pick up some new fans that were like, oh yeah, I didn't heard of these guys before.
Great point.
So
we've had a couple people like that too. Like it's with this new album especially. Like we've had like a good handful of people who come to us and they're like, you know what, I don't really like this style of music, but you know, this album's cool, because I feel like it doesn't kind of, you know, at least from what people have told us, like it doesn't quite fall into that genre as prominently as like other albums do. So some people are a little more open to it. So.
That's so cool.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's a festival I'd love to see you guys at, I see George smiling. I'd love to see you guys play at Prague Power. I go down to that every single year in Atlanta. And I think there's enough fans from those two kind of camps, and then all the in-betweens and the stragglers that go to that. I think you guys would go over really well there.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I saw two people with shirts on, which surprised me, and I stopped a guy, and he just was like emphatic that, oh man, it's my favorite band right now. And he was shocked that there was another Wilderun fan at Prague Power.
That's awesome. They were wearing your shirts of Prague Power.
Yeah,
that's fucking cool, man.
That's always where it starts. You know, it's the problem for that festival is Glenn gets hit up with like a billion bands every, you know, festival for who's going to play. So, but I'd love to see guys, and it's a nice big stage. You get to play in front of 1,000 people. Who knows what can happen that night? And
you might even be able to borrow, you know, some folk people from some of the other bands to play extra instruments.
Yeah, they can come on stage. I mean, we would absolutely love to play that. I mean, you know, as with anything, it's always hard to know exactly how you go about booking something like that. I mean, we don't have, you know, I'm the band manager and
the band manager, the merchandiser.
We don't really have much much help with that. So I mean, you know, but you know, hey, maybe I'll shoot him an email, see if something happens.
John, you know him, don't you? Can you
I don't
bend his ear a little?
I don't know Glenn, but you know, and it's funny because this will be the 16th out of the 17 that I'm going to, and I had tickets for the one I missed. So, but. Yeah, I guess a lot of times people just send him stuff directly, and I don't know how he sorts through all of it. I mean, you talk about how much stuff you reviewed, George, how much stuff the rest of us listen to, and I'm sure it's tenfold for him. So.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm assuming you have a full-time job. Does that also... Because I'm always amazed that, you know, to us, you can release an album that is so grand to us, and we think, man, you know, these guys aren't living off of this, you know? Yeah. But that's the reality. And all my friends who I talk to who, you know, I'm the only metalhead at my job, they're kind of amazed. They're like, you know, these guys have jobs. Does that kind of also, I'm assuming it does, affect how much time you can give to Wilderun? And do you think maybe if you were to say fuck it and just live in that van down by the river, then maybe you could tour more or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's a constant struggle, and it's always kind of the internal battle of you know, making a living versus making art. Yeah, and I think anyone in this industry, anyone in art at all, you know, music or otherwise, has to deal with this struggle of just, yeah, you got to make a living, you got to make money somehow, and yeah, Wilderun is absolutely not a thing that is, you know, that we can live off of at the present moment. But you just gotta love it enough to put in that extra time to maybe lose a little bit of sleep every now and then, and maybe, you know, not go out and do normal social stuff if you need to, you know, sit at home and write a song for a few hours. You know, you just gotta kind of make that choice. You know, it's definitely a little bit of a time dedication, but we love doing it, and we couldn't imagine not doing it, regardless of how tough it can be regarding normal life. So, and then it also becomes the question of, you know, do you try to market it in a way where it could eventually become lucrative? But, you know, that becomes a tough question, because then you got to start questioning if you need to change the actual music and the art in order to make it more, financially sustainable. And that's a big internal battle right there. So
a couple more, and then we'll let you get on with your day. Your guys' promo pictures. I love the fucking look you have in them.
Oh, thanks.
Damn, what a fancy man you guys are when you get all dressed up and you're, you guys look wonderful. I love it. Do you guys keep that same look up when you guys play live shows?
Yeah, we try to. I mean, we don't have like one set, outfit that we wear every single show.
Yeah.
Like we've changed it up a little bit, but we always just try to stay in that theme. We like to kind of, dress up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, and we just try to have our attire be a theme and a vibe. So.
The theme of a lot of songs go over my dense fucking head. What would you, for people who haven't heard you guys, the theme and the lyrics of a lot of your guys' songs are about?
There's definitely not really one theme. I mean, both albums kind of have their own identity. The first album was very much just about, the whole theme of the album, I guess, was just folklore and just like American folklore and folk tales because, like half those songs had actual traditional melodies in them, like, How Stands the Glass Around, Down California, and those are traditional American folk songs. So that was kind of the theme of that record, was we just kind of wanted to have it be just old folk tales, some of them a little bit more lighthearted than others. And then this new album was much more intimate, a lot more personal. Like we wanted to maintain that atmosphere, that kind of folky old world atmosphere, but have it be more of a personal, intimate story that dealt with, it's not as much of like a literal tale as much of it's more of like an emotional tale that, kind of paints a picture that way as opposed to a more like literal one. So
could you maybe spin this into like a concept album down the line? Any thoughts on that ever? Kind of, since you do have this American folk, maybe take like a character in American folklore.
Paul Bunyan, the album.
You know what? It's funny you say that. That's what I was thinking about in my head. But of course, my stupid
Babe, the blue ox.
Evan, I have a 1.5-year-old. So when I was thinking like American folk, I'm thinking like Three Little Pigs or something.
Johnny
like
Appleseed.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've thought about it. I guess like it's just one of those things where if a really good idea comes to us, we'll go with it. But we don't want to force it,
Yeah.
But we're definitely open to it. We still love American folk music and stuff. So yeah, you never know. We're open to it, but we won't do it unless it's we're all really inspired by the idea and it seems like a good thing to do. So yeah.
Too early to start talking about next album yet?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like there's not much I have to say just because we have like melodies and riffs lying around that we may or may not use, but that's pretty much the extent of it right now. Like we don't have any really concrete ideas of what we want the next album to be yet, but I'm excited to see what it's going to be because I don't really know yet, so we'll see.
Any plans for touring? I know you guys are all spread out in jobs, but anything possibly lined up? I know you did a tour a little while ago.
Yeah, well, nothing specific planned yet, but we definitely want to tour next year. Like we'd like to do at least a couple tours next year, hopefully earlier than later, just to kind of, we want to kind of ride off of some of the buzz that's been around the record, and so we definitely want to hit the road sooner than later, but where and exactly when I really don't know yet. But
I'm telling you,
but
come
keep
December, January, wait till you see Buzz.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody again looks for those final best of
albums.
lists,
Yeah.
because those are where we get the most hits on our website and the most downloads.
Definitely.
I'm telling you, you haven't seen Buzz yet. Mark my word, these guys are going to be on numerous lists.
And when you get out there, make sure to come DC or Baltimore.
Absolutely, yeah, we'd love to.
Any plans? Like the listeners of our podcast would crucify us if we didn't ask. Any vinyl plans?
We've always thought about it, and we definitely want to do it eventually. It's it's expensive. I think that's honestly been the main reason why we haven't done it yet. And it's just we'd have to get like a different. if you want to do vinyl right, you got to get it remastered for vinyl and stuff. We want to make sure if we do vinyl, we want to make it sound as good as we can and print it for the highest quality that we can. So we definitely want to, and I would say that there's a very good chance that we will eventually, but we just need to get the funds and the right recording for it.
You ever want to do a test pressing? I got a nice record player and a nice home that would keep it safe.
And of course, you'll do both albums.
Yeah, well, I will keep it in mind, absolutely.
Yeah, and Evan, if the time were to come, was to come, you would press both albums, correct?
I guess that just depends on our funds, really. I mean, we would love to do both. I mean, we'd probably have to start with one,
right?
Just just to test out to see how it sells, and just. See
I'm
how
just
it all
curious
works,
because we don't do the Bandcamp. Jay's in a band. Jay's been up on Bandcamp. George likes buying CDs and ripping FLAC files. How have the CD sales been? Are you still getting a large number of people buying the physical disc?
A good amount, yeah.
Cool.
It kind of comes and goes in waves. Obviously when we released the record, we got like a bunch of sales, and then it kind of died down a little bit. And then we got a really good review from Angry Metal Guy, and
I read that.
He gave us a really nice review, and that was cool because like so many people read that site that as soon as that was published, like that whole week or like 2 weeks after that, we got like just a bunch new orders, just all for records and a couple shirts and stuff. So that was awesome. And now it's kind of tapering down a little bit now again, but we still get a few every week. And so it hasn't completely died yet.
Well,
it's still
the Metalheads podcast is going to make it fucking rain.
There we go, yeah.
Either that or we're going to drive you deep into a black hole. It's hard to tell.
But you can always do a Kickstarter to fund the vinyl.
Yes.
I'm sure people would totally invest in that. I know I would.
Yes, I'm telling you guys, if you were to do a Kickstarter for the vinyl,
I'm in.
Without a doubt, you have 4 guys right here who would buy in. I'm telling you. Is that anything you've ever thought of?
Well, we did the Kickstarter for the last record, so we definitely know it works. Although we do want to be a little bit careful as far as like how much we use that, because it's a great tool.
There's a local band here who does it every frickin' time, and I personally. George is maybe in a different mindset. George says, "Hey, if you do it and it works and people keep buying into it, good." Well, but I say, "Hey, you've done it. You already have an established product. Maybe you don't need it for the 5th or 6th album."
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to oversaturate and, keep going back to the same well. Eventually people are going to be like, nah, I'm done.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sure that like if we did a Kickstarter again, like we'd be kind of banking off of some of the same people, and we don't want to, we don't want to like put that on the same people too many times in a row. Yeah. Like, people have lives and expenses and stuff.
But at the same time, it gives people the opportunity to get what they want. In this case, if there are fans of vinyl, it's not like they're put out, they're actually getting something for it. And, if there isn't enough of demand, then, it doesn't get funded, and, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, but I think what Evan is saying. I think what Evan is saying is your mom can only give so many times. You know what I mean?
Right.
Very good point.
But if there is a demand for that specific product, then it's not necessarily a bad thing.
That's true. It's definitely something we're keeping in mind, and there's probably a good chance that we'll be using it again at some point for something. So,
Evan, just get us some vinyl. That's all we're saying, dude. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna say here, but we're all over the map. But vinyl.
It's good. It's good to know that that there's some definite people that want it, and so it's good to know that it has some demand. So we'll definitely keep that in mind.
I'd like to say I would like to suggest extremely limited edition, 4 copies, 1 color each.
With our own color waves pressed on each of them,
Yeah, exactly. Someone will get the pink one.
I'll take the grass green one.
Okay, all right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get into playing the first song, which is going to be "And So Opens the Earth," Ash Memory Part 1. Now, I know you've already talked about this, the 4 parts of the song a little bit, but do you want to talk about this a little bit before we play it, or are you good?
I guess, I would just, there's really nothing too specific I have to say. Just it's kind of it's just the beginning of the journey. That's all I can say, really.
Okay.
Actually, that
Simple.
was pretty fucking deep.
That
though,
was
wasn't
pretty
it?
deep right there.
The beginning of the journey.
And the album is a journey, man.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
All right, well, let's get into the song now. All right, that was the first part of our interview with Evan Berry of Wilderun, and that was the song "And So Opens the Earth, Ash Memory Part 1. Stick around to the end of the show, and we will play you a little bit more with Evan and another song from the Wilderun album. Okay, so while you were listening to the interview, we went and refilled our glasses. What are we drinking now, John?
We are drinking an excellent stout. It's a imperial stout, so it's going to be a little bit bigger. It's 12%, and it is called Speedway Stout from AleSmith Brewing. I believe it's AleSmith Brewing Company in San Diego.
Nice.
And it's definitely one of my favorites.
It is tasty.
It's got a little bit of an added coffee bit to it to give it some more flavor.
I like the coffee in my stout. I like the coffee and the chocolate, not so much, but the coffee I like in the stout a little bit.
And it's not overly done, which is nice. So it's not kind of browbeating or anything. It's a nice, smooth ride.
I feel really bad for Jay right now. I mean, we probably always say this when we're drinking the different beers, but I'm just looking at him going, and he's looking, and he's like, look at that beer. Look at that beer.
Don't feel bad
Maybe
for this guy. Can I tell you why not to feel bad for this guy? Funny story. We play NHL 16 on the Xbox One, and if anybody wants to challenge us, my gamer tag is Opeth. God, I fucking love Opeth. Everything on mine.
I had no idea.
Sunday night next week, I'll be there. London.
Do you think it's going to be the same set list?
I don't even want to know what the set list is.
I hope it is, but don't look.
I'm not looking.
Is that the show where they're recording the entirety of
The 25th
Ghost Reveries or something?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing because they just played the Bulgarian ancient Greek theater or whatever it was there, and they did some badass show there. And
John Simmons said, I woke up to it, and I'm like,
yeah,
I sat there speechless looking at it.
Well, I guess we can get that because I know you bring up about Ackerfeld.
Yeah, we'll mention that.
Yeah.
But to quickly say, don't give this guy any credit or feel bad for him. we play NHL 16 on the Xbox One. My gamer tag is Opeth Space Bodum. So Opeth Bodum. Look me up. Challenge me. Bring it. Well, there's a game mode on there, Hockey Ultimate Team. And what you do in Hockey Ultimate Team
now I see where you're going with
you
this.
build teams and you open digital packs. Each pack costs $3 a pack. Or you can, grind out some games and buy packs that way. Well, I've been buying a lot of packs, probably to the tune of $100. Last check, and players have different values.
Get to the point.
I'm getting to the fucking point. Why I'm saying don't feel bad for this guy. He says, Buke. I told him my top line. I have Joe Thornton and I have Marlowe, both Sharks fans, Sharks players. So I'm like, he's like, dude, I just opened up a Weber. I'm like, Shea Weber, the best D-man in the game? Fuck yeah, I'll trade you a Marlowe for a Weber. I get so excited. I'm telling Steph, I'm going to get Shea Weber, and my team's going to be great. My blue line, which is one of my weaknesses, is going to be fixed and addressed. I go to set up the trade. I put Marlowe on the trade blocks. Other people could have bought him.
Oh, Thornton. You put him on for $9 million.
And he looks at the cards and he goes, oh, it's Yannick Weber.
Okay, I don't know what that has to do with beer.
No,
all I can say is nerds.
Yeah, no, because you were saying, if you feel bad for him, don't feel bad for him.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Yeah, don't cry for him. Get me all excited for Yannick Weber. It would just be like saying, he's going to see Opeth next week, but it's like OP, the number 3TH.
It's OTEP, not Opeth.
Yeah, exactly. How many times have we gotten that? Yeah.
That was our joke for the rest of the night. It was like, hey, Buke, I got an Ovechkin to trade you. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's Bill Ovechkin.
Yeah, well, that happened to me with a show. I went to see what I thought was Overkill. It was a show. It's Urge, Overkill. It was a band, Urge Overkill. It was a small club in town. I was like, damn, Overkill's playing here. We all went in, paid our cover charge, went in there, and we were like, what the fuck is this? This is not Overkill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who is this?
So you still saying fuck you anyway?
Yeah. It's like, we don't care what you saying. Fuck you.
But my beers come at night, so I'm always drinking beer when we're playing.
In-game, a Shea Weber goes for about 150,000 coins. Yannick Weber is hot on the trade block right now for 600 coins.
God,
Shea Weber's, I think, an 89 or a 90 rating.
I will tell you this.
Yannick Weber's an 82. So.
I deserve every bit of this.
Yeah.
All right, well, why don't we get into some news?
Let me take this one, George.
You got it.
Hank Sherman, guitar player formerly of Merciful Fate, who also has a new release out, says he would love to make one final cool album with Merciful Fate. And the reason, of course, I want to take this is they're probably easily my top 3 favorite bands of all time. And that's based on basically just 3 releases, the early 3 releases. But yeah, fuck yeah. I'd be honest with you, I didn't read the news story, George. I would like to know where you read this. What was the context under where you read it?
It was on Blabbermouth. And I want to pat myself on the back here a little bit. We were talking about this the other day, and I said, I bet you after King Diamond finishes up with this Abigail tour, he's going to go back and do something with Merciful Fate. And I stand by that now. I think that'll happen.
Especially, you know what? Also, because King's doing the Abigail tour right now, he's kind of feeling a little nostalgic. I'm assuming. I got my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope it happens.
Was browsing through the news this week, and Phil Anselmo, it was announced that he has launched a new extreme metal project, Scour.
How bad do you think it's going to suck? Not because I'm dissing Phil,
no,
but because Phil does extreme metal projects, they kind of suck.
When I was so excited, I raced out to Best Buy to get Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, his last solo album that he did.
Wah, wah, wah.
I maybe did half a listen. It was bad.
It's not that good, yeah.
It was bad.
Well, we will give it a listen. We will give it a fair shake. But
if things work out well, and I have been confirmed this Friday, I will be traveling to Philadelphia to interview Phil.
Woohoo!
So I will mention that to him.
Is there names attached to this or anything to Scour, or is it just Phil and like a bunch of guys you never heard of?
I didn't see anything. If I did, I didn't recognize them. So
yeah, I saw a picture. That tweet picture that just came out that I might be hearing later in the news. Phil's gained some weight, dude.
He fluctuates.
He's a chunky monkey.
Okay.
He fluctuates.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we can get him on the pod. I mean, other than Jay, maybe we can get him to replace Jay. There's a weight minimum to be on this podcast.
So
he does.
So Friday, when I interview Phil, I will have interviewed Phil and Mike. I'm done.
Yeah,
you can drop. Yeah,
I can leave the pod now.
Yeah, mic drop, walk away.
Yep, mic drop. That's it. See ya.
Time to take up a new genre. Yeah,
Speaking of which, I haven't officially announced this yet, so I'm going to do that now. There's going to be a new Metalheads website coming out very soon. I could probably go live with it like tomorrow, but I'm as Buke likes to say, I'm a perfectionist. I'm trying to nail out the last few details. But this site, the current site, all it is a logo and a bunch of streaming podcast links. Basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to roll Metal Disciple up into the same site as Metalheads. So not only will you have the podcasts, you'll have written reviews, you'll have interviews, you'll have videos, tons of fun.
That's pretty good.
And also on YouTube, you have taken the interviews and made them separate.
Yeah, and that was sort of where I was going with this, was that where possible, I have scraped the interviews out of the podcasts and made them stand alone, so you can listen to just the interviews on the website or on YouTube. For those people that, maybe you just want to listen to the interview, or maybe for whatever reason. It's just one of the many services we offer.
Well, I want to pitch it too, though, because it's a chance for us to get a little bit more in depth about some stuff. George and I are both writing some reviews right now. We're going to be doing some editorials on the page.
That's where like the year-end lists are going to go. That was sort of the motivating factor of me trying to get this finished, because I've been working on this since like January.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got to have some place to hang our hats come end of the year to put these lists up. So I got to get my shit done.
And if any of our listeners write and would maybe like to possibly submit an album review or two for consideration to maybe join the site.
Yeah, email us, Facebook us, tweet us, whatever you want to do. If you can write it above a second grade level, so that obviously Buke's out.
Yeah, I'm done. Obviously,
but if you want to try your hand at writing some reviews, pick an album.
Serious commitment.
Yeah,
not somebody's going to trail off after.
I've had a lot of flaky people in the past that write a couple of reviews and then they disappear, and I can't count on them. I've already read Jay's first review, and let me tell you, like I told him, it beats the shit out of anything I've ever written, period. So I cannot wait to share that with people.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got more coming too. And actually, I'll go ahead and just tell you, it is a review of Four Phantoms by Bell Witch.
Yep.
Nice.
So, and I've got more. I'm writing some more right now. I'm getting off to George, and just a fun new avenue for the podcast and vice versa.
Yep. So look for that real soon.
And I want to take a minute to thank you for putting all that hard work into George. I know that can be frustrating and time consuming, and it really is pretty. It looks nice. It pulls in all our little avenues like Twitter. Yeah, we got all these little feeds in there. George has got all these little feeds in there. It was kind of a one-stop shopping thing for Metalheads podcast.
Yeah, you can get to our Facebook from there, our Twitter from there, our YouTube, our Instagram.
Updates show up.
You can stream all the podcasts. And there's a new thing, up until now, you could stream it or you could download it from iTunes. There's going to be an actual direct download link. There's a listener of ours in Peru. I want to give him a shout out.
¿Cómo estás?
Yeah. He requested direct downloads, and I was like, how are we going to work this with the statistics? And I figured out a way to do it so that it sort of, when you click the link, it redirects through PodTrack that does our tracking and gives you a direct download and gives us a number. So that's going to be a new feature. If you don't want to go through iTunes, you can just download it and listen to it however the hell you want.
And again, any podcast app at all. We mention iTunes a lot, but any podcast app that searches RSS feeds, which they all do. If you type in Metalheads Podcast, you'll see our logo come up.
Yeah. And if you don't, you can usually request it. Or if there's something that you use for podcasts and you can't find us on there, let us know, and we will make sure it gets submitted to it so that you can listen to it there. Did you guys know that Kitty is still around? I did not know this until I heard the other day that they just released a cover of David Bowie's Space Oddity.
I hadn't heard that name since Drunk Matt was on the pod.
Yeah. Okay,
well, it's funny, but they actually just self-produced and financed, I think through Kickstarter or something, a documentary about the history of that band. They did it themselves.
I remember when they were first on the scene, they were billed as an all-girl death metal band. And I was like, okay, because, she's got the harsh-ish vocals, but you listen to Kitty now and you're like, this is not death metal.
Yeah, they debuted with that single, Brackish.
And listening to this, I'm like...
that, you like that Kitty poll?
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you a single song by them. But other than Space Oddity, which I listened to, and I was like, that doesn't sound like Kitty that I used to know. But I was just surprised they were still around at all. I figured they must have broken up by now.
They were never as big as I think. It was okay. You know what? I'm going to get myself in dangerous ground here. It's just
they're the runaways of harder metal.
We skipped over it. I'm just going to mention it real quick. Trivium defending their new album. We mentioned that last week, how it was bad, or it was a couple episodes ago when I played you it.
Yeah,
the single. It's bad.
It is. I've been trying to get through the whole album, and I just can't do it. Partly because I haven't been able to pay attention.
It's bad.
And I've actually got a friend who I'm not going to name since he likes the album. He was like, "Hey man, it's not that bad," I was like, "Yeah, it is."
I never got into them.
Yeah,
never. I've seen them live.
I like their earlier stuff. I thought they were good before, but yeah, not so much now. All right, moving on. Borknagar, or however you pronounce it, to release Borknagar.
Whatever.
Borknagar. It just sounds more like Swedish Chef when you say that. Borknagar.
Sounds like a Christmas drink or something.
Borknagar. Anyway, Borknagar to release a new album called Winter Thrice on January 22nd. I think that'll be pretty cool. I like those guys.
I like them.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the more early, more black metal, less proggy stuff, but I still like pretty much everything they've done.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Now, I sent all of you guys a link this past week, and I never heard back from anybody, but...
I don't know what I think about it yet.
Megadeth released the first song from their upcoming album, Dystopia, just coming out on January 22nd. The song is called Fatal Illusion, and I'm a little torn on it myself.
Me too.
As I mentioned in the message to you guys, it has a little bit of a Black Friday vibe, I think, in sort of the meter of it, which is like, okay, well, that's old school, that's cool. Yet at the same time, it wasn't that hooky. The chorus is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But it does sound better, like leap
By
years
far.
beyond Super Collider.
Well, yeah, that was just...
So, yeah, I'm like, I don't know. And I was curious what you guys thought, and nobody said anything.
I'll tell you what I think.
Because we had to save it for the pod.
Is what's that? What's that, Buke?
I'm saying we have to save our thoughts for the pod.
You know, I had my bass player had his birthday party last night, so I was there, and he always has this great thing where he floats around like his iPhone, and he keeps this constant stream of videos streaming through his television and speakers, so people are choosing music all night. And I mentioned that because I hadn't heard it yet, so we put it up, listened to it last night for the first time. And the best thing I can say about it is that it was a little heavier. I liked it way better than anything on Super Collider, which I didn't even make it through. And up until he started singing, then I got a little wavery about it. It was a little...
The intro was a little, like, scattered. I was like, okay, get to the fucking point. But then once they got to the point, I was like, yeah, maybe. So I'm on the fence, I guess, is my official opinion.
There's some hope.
I've when it comes to Mustaine death, I have a hard time because I know enough from some people in the industry that I'm friends with to know about him. That kind of pisses me off, and I'm not out to knock him.
Some insider.
Hey, John, you don't have to knock him. He's knocked himself so hard in the interviews over the years.
That's the real sad part, because I had this conversation came up last night with a friend. We were at an Oktoberfest, and he's a guitar guy, but he's a guitar player, so all his music is through guitar players, not through bands. And he's a huge he's a huge Chris Broderick fan. And I almost said Justin Broderick. I was like, oh, yes, cool.
Yeah. Wait, is that Shay Broderick?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, Shay Broderick.
And I'm a huge Chris Broderick fan, too. I remember, Dave, this is the greatest guitarist ever. I'll never want to play with anybody else ever again. And then he wouldn't let him do anything on the albums.
Yeah.
So I'm burned out on Dave, which pisses me off because I love those first 5-6 albums they did.
Yeah.
You know, even Euthanasia, which was...
I love Euthanasia. It's probably my favorite.
Still a completely different band, but that opening track, Reckoning Day, you're like,
I
want to just crush somebody.
Yes.
You know?
That's the
Do
one.
you think that Dave feels
of
threatened?
Consequences is on that record
Maybe
too, right?
as a guitarist, like, hey, I can't. I'm not young, and I can't.
I think Dave feels too complacent and relaxed.
I don't get it, because he's had Chris Poland, he's had Marty, and he's had this guy. Even Glenn Drover was a great guitarist. He's just running everybody out.
Yeah.
I got the whole thing. I have no problems if he wanted to move in a different direction on the drummer. He's replaced Sean Drover with a much better drummer, I think, personally.
Without a fucking doubt.
But
probably the best drummer in metal, I would say now.
He's one of them. I mean, depending on what you like, but he's definitely one of them.
He's the reason I was curious to hear the new song.
Me too. Yeah, and I like the actual guitarist they have. He's the guy from Angra, who I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm just a big Chris Broderick fan. I always liked him. So.
Well, I think too. I think it's a couple of different things, and this is just me supposing, but I'm pretty sure what happens is they come in and they don't really get to do anything creative or fun. They just kind of do what Dave tells them to do. And then on the second level, I don't think he pays them very well. And so I think you add those two things together and people are like, you know what, I thought this was going to be cool, but I'm making as much as my wife, the waitress, and I'm not expressing myself musically, so fuck it. You know what I mean? And they leave.
Does that sound like the Nick Menza story here with the reunion? Kind of, a little bit?
That's exactly what it was.
Exactly, yeah.
John, were you a Jag Panther fan?
I never got in, but I've seen them.
I was going to say, you have to be a Jag Panther fan.
I was going to say, if you were high on Chris.
Well, I saw them. Well, I got high on Chris because of Nevermore when he played with them. When he
totally forgot.
Yeah, he actually was a fill-in on the live stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's when he was with Loomis. I was like, what the?
Did I tell you we met Van?
Yeah.
Let's just say that again.
Yeah. Trust me. Yeah, that's another situation. I'm not going to say any more than that. And I've met Jeff before when they were touring with Opeth. One of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
And then you guys tell me Van's just awesome. I'm like,
yeah, you know where the problems are there.
Exactly. And that's a shame because I love Nevermore.
We do, yes.
Well, I think, they can save it until after the pod, but I think these guys got some insight they can share with you off the air.
And I know people who are, and I know people. Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
So Candlemass, they have stated in the past that they've got this replacement singer guy, and they're not going to record any more albums. They're just going to do live shows. But despite that, they are going to record a new EP for their 30th anniversary.
That'll last so long.
Who's singing with them now?
His name's like
Matt.
Matt. like Mateen or Matt. Or
is it Matt Levine?
Yeah, him.
He sang with Therian, I think, for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been around for a gazillion years.
I've never heard him because he hasn't been on an album. He's only played with them live, so I have no idea. I'm a huge Messiah Marcolin fan, so for me, if it's not Messiah or it's not Leif singing, then,
hey, I like the Robert Lowe stuff.
I was just
like
I'm sorry, I am mistaken. I do like the Robert Lowe stuff as well.
I was just to say, Jay, I remember you mentioning that before, and I'm a big fan of him with them and with his other band.
Yeah.
Solitude Eternal.
Matt has sung for Candlemass, Apocalyptica, Ingve, Therian, Crux.
Everybody has sung for Ingve. Everybody.
Matt has been around. He's big on the.
All right. Well,
Advance.
it's just I'm tired of different sounds. It's like
Me too, George. I was a little bit unsure about the Robert Lowe era, but when King of the Grey Islands came out, I was like, holy fucking shit, this is good.
Great stuff.
No, I mean,
but I'm not ready.
He's a well-known thing, it's that's like saying, James Hetfield is going to sing for Slayer now. Like you're like, fuck yeah,
Exactly. But and also he made good records with them too. I mean, those are all they made 3
with
good
Ingve,
records.
he sung on "Facing the Animal,"
whatever,
97.
But
I'm sure everybody has that one.
And which wife was that for Ingve at that point?
How many Ferraris did he have at that point?
But I'm with you, George. I don't know. I don't need to follow them into yet another lead singer. I will listen to whatever track they stream.
Of course.
Yeah, same here.
But
speaking of tracks that are available for streaming, have we listened to the new Swallow the Sun song?
No, and anyone?
Yes.
It's called Heartstrings Shattering from their forthcoming Songs of the North 1, 2, and 3, which is due November 13th. I liked it. I have to say it didn't hold my attention for the entirety of the song. I mean, I was doing something, so it could be my fault. But it did sound good. I had no issues with what it sounded like. So I am certainly looking forward to hearing more of that.
So are we saying that this song is not going back to the previous albums, but maybe a departure from the last one, which was it was good, but
yeah, well,
not on my list.
I mean, like New Moon is sort of my thing.
Me too.
Hope was my peak for them.
Hope and New Moon are my two.
And
I'm
like,
Butterflies. Those three are just.
And I got to say, it's been a while since I've listened, but I don't recall those having clean vocals.
I don't remember on Hope. No.
He's done a little more as time's gone on, and it's probably because of his work with Barren Earth.
Right, and there was a lot of clean vocals, which was my thing. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I think of Swallow the Sun. I think of Death Doom, and so harsh vocals, slow music, and there was a lot of clean music and a lot of clean vocals, and I'm not opposed to that. I think I just need to. I need to give it another listen.
Well, it's a big release. 3 albums.
Jay, seeing these two guys look at each other and talk back and forth, it's like I'm sitting with two world powers. They're fucking bouncing metal knowledge. Pew, 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 pew.
It's like
Churchill and Stalin, or
pew, pew, pew.
Pew,
like that.
exactly.
Seeing in Dr. Strangelove, it's the war.
This is amazing. I'm just sitting back like, wow.
I like Swallow the Sun.
Yeah,
they got some cool stuff.
Yeah. They're my favorite song. No Light, No Hope. Oh,
yeah.
Man, I fucking love that track.
Yeah.
We got some bad news this past week.
I broke it again.
Yeah, you're the fucking angel of death, man.
Fucking Buke.
Yep.
Satyr from Satyricon announced that he has a brain tumor, which, I mean, first of all, what the fuck is it with heavy metal causing brain tumors?
I don't know.
Fucking, Chuck.
One after another.
James Murphy, I bet there's more. I don't understand it. Heavy metal people, brain tumors. Fucking cut it out. But the silver lining here is it sounds like it's not as bad as it could be.
He says it's not malignant.
They don't know for sure, but they think that it's benign and that he won't have to have surgery if it doesn't continue to grow. That basically he would just deal with it.
Oh, boy.
Rough.
I've never heard of anybody having that situation where it didn't continue to at least grow, even if it was benign.
I have a coworker of mine who has a reoccurring one.
Yeah.
And they cut it out of his brain. It grows back another couple of years. They have to go back in and do it. He's had 4 or 5 of them.
I had a coworker at one of my last jobs. He was one cool son of a bitch. And when I met him, he he was quite a bit younger than me. And like for the better part of his like teenage life into his adulthood, he'd been dealing with a brain tumor. It was like and he had like scars on the back.
That's how
of
my
his neck,
coworker is. Yep.
up into his head there, where
Yep.
they had to go in and operate. And he was one of the most upbeat, cool guys you'll ever meet. You know, you see the guy and you're like, whoa, what the fuck happened? And so he was one of those people that like he doesn't like just like ignore it. He meets you the first time and he's like, hey, you know, in case you're wondering, I had a brain tumor, and he'll tell you all about it. And you know, and so it's not like this thing. And he was such a cool guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know, I've had a couple of surgeries and, you know, it's gone and everything. But before I left, it came back. He died. And fuck brain tumors, man.
Well, the best to him. Hopefully this is not another unfortunate. It's tough hearing this as we get older.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's
Just
happening more and more.
Constant reminder to, I know a lot of people who listen to metal kind of like to wallow in sadness or stuff like that. Just enjoy life.
Yeah, you know, we may like music that's dark and depressing and what have you, but
Tomorrow, the next second is not guaranteed.
yeah, you still gotta enjoy what you got.
Yep.
We like music that's dark and depressing, but stop killing our guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want
We're
them to
trying
keep
to.
making that dark and depressing music.
And it's always like the guys that I'm a huge Satyricon fan. That's definitely one of my top black metal bands. And Satyr, for years, I've just, you know, I feel like he's always been sort of ahead of the pack in, you know, people call him a sellout or, you know, whatever. I think, you know, he's evolved black metal from the earliest days into what they're doing now. And I think he's brilliant. And so I hope he'll be able to continue making music for years to come.
Sigh.
Yeah.
So speaking of cancers,
Yeah. So, you know, they do these rock and roll fantasy camps where people with too much expendable income, they can go and...
you going to go to one, John?
Dude, I'm living a fucking fantasy camp right now, man.
What a nice guy.
I'm doing it with you guys right now, man.
They can go to these like week-long getaways where you get people... rock stars that will teach you how to play guitar better and teach you stuff, and you know, like at the end of the week, you like play a show at wherever
they all
this
play
is.
Breaking the Law together.
Yeah,
The
and,
easiest metal songs they can find.
and my wife actually had considered trying to get me one of these at one point, and I'm like, I can't play guitar anymore. It's been so long, you know. I'm terrible. You know, just listen to those episodes that I took down. The retrospective ones, yeah.
No stage can hope to contain this man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the point
hold them
being
up.
that I'm actually tempted now because they've got one with Tony Iommi, Steve Vai, and Zach Wilde. Now, Steve Vai, forget about it. The guy's got 12-inch fingers. I could never play like him. I certainly respect the man and enjoy what he does, but I would be like humping Tony Iommi's leg that whole week.
Well, I will say this about Steve Vai, my buddy, who I had the conversation last night about Chris Broder. We flew out to Anaheim for him to do a Steve Vai, like, his own, like, fantasy thing.
Yeah.
My buddy, he's been playing for years, and he's like, oh, I got to meet Steve Vai. We met him. Mm-hmm. And I hung out at the bar and just drank all the time. A really nice guy. And just said it was a lot of fun because just hearing him talk about playing guitar, because Vai's all over the place.
He's just too far beyond anything that I could comprehend.
And that's how he views him. He's just like, he's up there. He's the Mount Rushmore of guitarists. That's one of his guys.
He's definitely on Mount Rushmore. And of course, no disrespect to Zach. Zach's amazing as well. I'd love to meet Zach, but come on.
No.
You know, Tony Iommi, I'd be humping his leg all week.
So the difference between those two for me is Zach's in a band called Zach Sabbath.
Yes, I saw that.
And the other guy is Black Sabbath.
The other guy invented heavy metal. So,
Well, good for Tony doing something, man. I'm glad he's still active.
yeah.
What is Steve Vai known for?
He,
The name is not-
he was-
I know
he-
he's famous,
a couple
but
of
the name
things,
is not
actually.
striking me. He toured with Zappa. I know
That was his first
Well,
gig when
but
was-
then he was in. I'm sorry, John.
No, I was gonna say, that's his
one of the
first
things
gig,
that really
wasn't it?
brought him a lot of fame was this '80s movie called Crossroads.
he
and
played,
he's-
he played the Devil's.
Everybody
or
knows
the
that was
devil.
Ralph Macchio. Come on now.
but he actually plays both guitar parts in
Yeah.
that, and then he was in the original incarnation of David Lee Roth's band.
Yeah, I saw him on David Lee Roth's first Eat 'em and Smile tour.
Yeah, which, by the way, a record I owned and was
That was
not.
the 3-neck heart guitar, wasn't it? I believe in the video.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but I think his heart lies though at Zappa. You know,
Yeah.
when he was just a kid, I think it was 19 or 20 with him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just phenomenal, and he's got solo albums of just instrumental music and stuff. And
Oh, his band has some of the best players in the world too, which is
I thought Steve Vai was the guy from Bruce Springsteen's band from these
That's
Pranos.
Steve Van Zandt.
that's
yeah,
Steve
Steve
Vai.
Van Zandt.
The funny thing is, I was more of a Joe Satriani fan than Steve Vai.
Me
personally.
too.
Tell me you're not a Chickenfoot fan.
Which is funny. I don't mind the guys in the band.
I like them all in their respective bands.
I just
I'm a big Sammy Hagar fan.
oh man, that's my first hard rock memory. 1981 on the Standing Hampton tour. 13 years old
Really?
at the Cow Palace with my buddy Alex Mason.
Seeing his first pair of boobs for the first time.
It was only like a year or
It was
so.
insane, man. The whole night.
A year or two ago, I saw Sammy Hagar play at the Washington National Stadium. It was one of those post-game concerts, free concerts, and they rolled this stage out. And I wasn't expecting anything from it. He's almost 70 years old, and he fucking tore it up.
And
I was like, he is so badass.
on Standing Hampton, he opens up with the song "Heavy Metal," from the soundtrack, which was on the album. He's hanging from the rafters during Red. I'm like, who is this guy? And he's just going back and forth. Man, I'm from San Francisco. Everybody cheers.
You're just like a bright-eyed kid just looking up at this.
We're gonna fucking rock this place. Like he said, fuck.
We are going to rock this
Now, I heard
place.
the Cow Palace was a shithole, too.
That's all right. It smells like cows.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
but Jay, have you been to the Cow Palace?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw
it's-
Metallica there, and I've been to other events there.
The Sharks used to play there, right, Jay?
Yep.
And the Warriors played there for a while. It's the Cow Palace, man. You fucking go to the Cow Palace. It's just there.
Dude, there's some famous. There's a lot of famous shows that there was a Dio bootleg recording live at the Cow Palace New Year's Eve. I remember that was kind of big in the '80s that you could get your hands on. It was kind of a place for a while, really,
Yeah.
but it is a weird place. There's no question about it
Yeah,
because it's
'cause
Cow
you got-
Palace because they used to have rodeos there.
Yeah, the Grand National stalls are off to the side when you're in the line
Yeah,
trying to get in and everything,
And they still do shit like that there.
and that's where we used to go tailgate.
And
Yeah,
it
the
has
heavy
the
metal-
worst fucking parking for any
it's
fucking place.
And it's right on the border with, it's in Daly City. It's not actually in the city. And you're right, it's just a shithole to get out of. And,
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's rough.
It's like FedEx Field for us.
Yeah, or Jiffy Lube.
but it's the Cow Palace,
But
so
yeah, I actually saw Metallica there. Last time I saw them, which was just a few years ago, they played Cow Palace. Strangely, but
wow. I saw
yeah,
Mob
there's
Rules.
not as many metal shows as there used to be there, but still sometimes.
Ozzy
There's a famous thing about that Sammy Hagar show. Was the Grateful Dead was playing at Bill Graham Civic or something that night, and they went and was Winterland still around then? Would have been then.
late 70s, yeah.
Okay, and they went over and they stole the Grateful Dead banners. It's like some sort of weird hard rock mean thing to do, but he's actually friends with those guys because they all live out there by each
Yeah.
other. But
Yeah.
I've actually run into him a couple times out here.
Nice.
Yeah, I was down at by the bridge one time, Golden Gate Bridge, on Crissy Field, and he was down there taking a photo shoot for sitting on a motorcycle. I have no idea what the photo shoot was for, but I went and said hi to him. He was really, really nice to me.
Sweet. So I read an interview with Michael Ackerfeld that, is funny because the headline says it's not likely he will ever write new music with harsh vocals. But then when you read the guts of the story,
She didn't say.
he said that, but he said it's not likely, but he also said you never know. It all is based on if the song calls for it. And so that leaves it wide open. So this is, fucking clickbait
Yeah.
that
I think, there's a video out there of him talking. Did you watch it?
I did, yeah.
I think he actually says, he's like, look, I've been doing this for 20, 25 years, and to be honest with you, I can't do it the same anymore. He actually said that.
I saw a couple years ago their live performance, Bloodbath, at Bloodstock.
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw his vocals sound horrible.
Nothing compared to the
Horrible.
other release that they did, the live one.
The Carnage one, the live
Ed
Carnage
Vaughan.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think he's in his 40s now. It's just getting
Yeah.
hard. He's been doing it since he was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
What I would like to see, and I think we'd all agree, is just them be a little more metallic in their sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's cool.
I don't care if the vocals are clean. Just make the songs a little heavier.
Now, John,
Yeah.
they are one of the biggest bands in metal. They have been for the last decade or so. Do you see their fan base trailing off as they get away from?
I just see it changing.
Do you?
Yeah, me too. I think they're picking up the prog guys.
I think so.
Because they are playing like prog festivals now
Do
and shit
prog
like that.
guys like them, John?
Because there's enough material of theirs. Because it's not like they've never been a prog band, which is the funny thing. They've always done acoustic melodies.
Yeah.
I remember Mike saying once, he said, I got death threats to bid you farewell. That's
I fucking love that song.
You can't get any more of a dark song possible
Yep.
out there, and so it.
But I have something to say about that too. Is I think that just like a lot of guys who really like metal bought some Porcupine Tree albums that never would have. I think his association with Steven Wilson has been an into the prog community with them a little bit.
Agreed.
Yeah, and so I think there are a lot of guys who are really into Steven Wilson and Porcupine Tree who have picked up Opeth records, and now, especially now, like really, didn't Storm Corrosion come out before Heritage?
Yes.
So that
right
was
around
a
the same time. Yep.
That was a nice little transitional thing there, even that whether or not it was intentional.
Right. Yeah. And that project's been in the works for
years. Yeah.
Years. I mean, I heard. I don't know if you guys have heard the old original demos that came out, and it's not even remotely close.
Yeah. You and I are diehard fans. I will follow them to the end.
Yeah.
I have accepted. I'm not going to get the album that I want. After Watershed, I was still I was like, when I joined into them, when I got into metal, my first real diving in point was when Deliverance came out. Again, I'm a lot younger than you guys, but Deliverance came out, and I'm like, what is this? And then I got Ghost Reveries, and I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then Watershed comes out, and it's like, oh man, we're fucking chugging along, we're picking up steam. And then Heritage comes out.
And I liked Heritage,
I'm not saying I don't. I love Heritage too.
but I'm not a big Pale Communion fan.
So I'm the opposite. And,
Yes,
and I think
the more I listen to Pale Communion, I feel the same way.
and I think because I've seen them play it live, it's heavy live, but I get it.
Well, I'm like Buke though too, and I had the good fortune to see them on the Deliverance tour. A buddy of mine actually, I saw him at the Pound in SF. If you remember the Pound, John, I don't know if
I remember the Pound. Yes.
it's gone now. It is done for, and there was just conscious thing in the crowd that we all knew we were seeing the first major American tour. That's to say, they had been here once and they opened for Nevermore, and it was just electric, man.
That was the first
know?
time.
Really was.
That was the first time I saw them. An early YouTube clip opening for Nevermore, playing Forest of October.
Yeah.
Jay, I saw that. I think I saw 6 shows in that tour, and it was beyond electric.
Yeah.
It was just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's electric. Oh,
There you go.
Who's that? And I don't mean
Hold on.
Metallica.
No, I got it. It's
It's electric.
Okay, well,
Diamond Head.
fine.
that was good.
So this is a long time coming. Our final news story, and then we'll go fill up and we'll get into new releases. This one's a long time coming.
Yeah, well,
This almost should have been a fucking given.
But they're nominated, though, I thought.
it's
right?
only nominated.
Exactly. I don't even know if they've been nominated before, gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't know if they
Have you
have.
seen that list?
Yeah, it's pretty.
But the list is kind of like, what's taking so long for some of these bands?
What we're talking about, this is Deep Purple has been nominated finally for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And they better fucking get in.
I agree.
Yeah. Nobody more deserving.
There's bands on that list that I don't really listen to, but if you look, like, really, Cheap Trick hasn't gotten in yet?
Yeah. Yes.
Chicago, yes. Whether you like them or not.
Chicago is a given. They have to be in there.
I guess my feeling is I like all those bands, actually.
Yeah, I'm a Chicago. I got Chicago records
like
because again, it relates me to my mom.
And I wonder, how are they getting in? But
No, don't start.
I mean,
And you don't like Ghost. What?
No.
Yeah. I'm glad. I really want to see a lot of these bands again. They won't, though. A lot of
Yeah.
them.
No. Before we get into the new releases, John, what is this that we are drinking now?
Right now, well, it's from Bee Nectar Meadery. I thought it would be appropriate, given we interviewed a folk metal band today. It's called Episode 13. The image on the label is of a couple barrels, but it looks like the At-Walkers.
Yes,
Which is very cool.
From Star Wars.
From Star Wars. And
that
it's,
shows you the generational gap because I call them AT-ATs. I don't say the AT-ATs.
I say they're AT-ATs.
That's how we remember them. So,
Yeah.
and also from Empire Strikes Back, mind you.
Yes.
It's mead aged in bourbon barrels. I'm a huge bourbon guy. I know you've been talking about this forever. You wanted to have it, so I figured perfect time to bring it up. It's been aging at my house for a while. Hopefully you guys like it. It's a meadery from Michigan. Another Michigan brewery.
Oh, yeah? What are they called again?
It's called Bee Nectar Meadery.
I leave Michigan and
Gentlemen,
they come up with all sorts of
as we
good
roll ahead to the new releases, cheers again.
Cheers.
Jay, I wish we'd share with you, buddy.
No, don't worry, Will. He's
Bump
eating
my
a
burrito on the microphone.
burrito.
Ooh, this is actually good.
Actually, Jay's not that far from like a brewery that just raked in the gold medals this year, right by his house. The Rare Barrel, I think, is their name.
I know it.
Yeah, they cleaned up at GABF this year. So
My favorite here right now is 21st Amendment, though.
yeah, they're big too.
Yeah, I
This
like
is good. I've had mead before, and I was just like,
This
this is really good.
is some bourbon mead.
Yeah, maybe that's the difference.
Okay, so let's get into new releases.
I'm taking my time with this.
Yeah.
That's a sipper. Ooh. All right.
This week's new releases, here they are. Spend your hard-earned money now.
First new release. It's finally seen the light of day. Children of Bodom, I Worship Chaos. Jay and I are like big fans. Buke. This leads me to my theory that Buke's been kidnapped by aliens. Because, okay, first of all, you may know him as Opeth Bodom, but he doesn't like the new Bodom album. It's only their best album since Hate Crew Death Roll. Doesn't like the new Ghost. Doesn't like the new Iron Maiden. Yeah, but he's a big Iron Maiden fan.
He's
Doesn't-
coming around on this one, George, believe it or not.
Doesn't like the new Ahab, though he's a big Ahab fan. I'm telling you, if his year-end list has Bring Me the Horizon on there, he's a fucking alien. He's been kidnapped because I am completely like
Sitting down to play hockey last night, I listened to I Worship Chaos again last night. This album rips, man.
Okay, good.
Yeah, this album's pretty amazing.
I see. I thought that maybe Matt Pike's lizard aliens had taken him, and now he realizes that we're onto him. So he's like, "Oh yeah, Bodom was good." Yeah.
No. My transition at work, I'm not being able to listen to music as much. So when I am, it's little bits and pieces. But I listened to the full album again last night. It's pretty amazing.
It is good.
I never listen to these guys. It's just one of those bands. We all have bands that you know they're there. You hear them, you listen to them, but I never gravitated.
I'm
You know what,
surprised
John?
because
This is a
the
good one to try, though. This is a good one to try, their new one.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because their guitar work is very progressive. At least, at least on the new album. I mean, Hate Crew Death Roll and earlier, very progressive guitar playing and keyboard playing, yet heavy. And so I Worship Chaos they've been getting back to that sound more, and I dig it.
I'll check it out. I think it's just one of those bands. They're
It
on
just
my
doesn't
list. and I
click
just
for you.
Never got to them.
Speaking about one of those bands,
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think about this because this one's more mixed, I think, than
this next one that John's talking about here is the new Deaf Heaven called New Bermuda. Now, if you listen to this podcast at all, you've probably heard us fucking eviscerate Deaf Heaven. I mean, they're practically my poster child of what is wrong with music. And that bomb that Jay was talking about is me kind of liking the new album.
Yeah.
I listened to it too,
Yeah, I did too.
and I thought it was all right.
Yeah. Now, okay, so I listened to New Bermuda. I was like, even if I tear something up, I'm going to give them a shot with their new album. I'm fair. And I listened to it, and I was like laying down in bed, sort of a ritual of mine now at night to relax. I throw on a new album and listen to it before I go to sleep, so I can just kind of sit back and pay attention to it. And I really dug the music. And so I was like, before I went to bed, I put on Sunbather, because I was like, okay, well, what is it I don't like about them? And I actually really liked Sunbather, except for the vocals.
I agree with you there. 100%.
And so I was like, trying to remember why I hated them.
There's just one inaudible scream.
Right.
Moonbath is the other band just like that, right?
Exactly, just like it.
No.
Almost carbon copies.
Ghostbath.
Yeah, Ghostbath.
excuse me.
Ghostbath, yes.
Right.
And so the singer's name is George Clark. I can't fault the guy for having a cool name. He's got a cool name. But he named George is on my okay list. But he does not enunciate in any way, shape, or form. And I listened to Sunbather with the lyric sheet in front of me, and I still could not make out. I couldn't follow along because he does not make words with his screams. And so that is why I hated Sunbather. And I was just like, people that like this are fucking full of shit because it's bullshit. But it's true. The music is actually good. And I actually think Sunbather's music is a little more well produced. It's I wouldn't call it black metal though, and that's the other thing is people say no, they're not black metal. It's only the vocals that make it kind of black metal. The music is actually more post metal.
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, they're kind of tweening with a lot of different genres at one time.
I was actually listening to it the other day, and I'm like, Sunbather is a Smashing Pumpkins album on double time musically. It has that epic, and I was like, okay, if you take the vocals out, this is a great instrumental album.
Yeah, I agree.
And so with New Bermuda, two things happened. One, the sound is a little more raw because they I guess they were reacting to
actually guitars on this one.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I mean, it's a little less produced, and they're probably doing that because of the detractors saying they're not black metal. I get it, but I like it. And he enunciates a little more. And I haven't gotten a lyric sheet yet to test that theory, but I still like the music more than the vocals. So I'm not 100% in Deaf Heaven camp, but next album I might be.
Yeah, I sent. What's the band I sent to you? Archivist.
Yeah,
and I said to you they were a cross between This Will Destroy You and Cult of Luna, which I think is true. But
I love Cult of Luna.
Yeah, but they do it way better though. That kind of post rockish, post metalish. Atmospheric black metal stuff.
I love post metal. I mean, it's cool. It's kind of because it's sort of related to sludge. It's like Sludge's slightly more respectable brother,
right.
And so I'm cool with post metal. I don't care if they're black metal or post metal or whatever. I just want their vocals not to suck.
I agree.
So,
but I thought the song structure was a little better this time.
I was expecting Buke's head to explode.
I'm speechless. I'm fucking when you teased us earlier in the week.
I told Jay.
You did tell me. You said save it for the pod.
Yeah, I did.
How is this fucking possible, George?
I told Jay because I was talking to Jay and I was like, dude, this is going to blow Buke's mind. And I was expecting a bit more of a vocal outrage over the fact that I would do this. But hey, I think this proves that I'm a fair guy.
No, there's no vocal outrage. I'm sending out a fucking tweet right now. I'm so fucking blown away.
I actually heard a little melody on this album. Not much, just a little.
Yeah,
a little.
Yeah,
which made it a little bit better for me.
I haven't listened to it, and I will not listen to it. These guys suck.
I did. George did tell me about it. I put it in the box under an assumed name.
I put it in under the album title instead of the band name, so you wouldn't see it. Well, what the hell is this?
The problem with them too is that they're a hipster metal band.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, and that's hard.
But again,
that's hard to get. You're right. It's hard to get.
Like I've said before, I'm going to step away from the mic. Why are they so popular?
Because they got some reviews from some non-traditional metal sources.
Yeah,
that didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
Well, but that makes it okay for the hipsters to like them too. That's the other thing. And you know what? Look at the first cover and stuff, Buke. If that record just had a Satyricon cover on it, none of the hipsters would have bought it.
Exactly.
It's just a little bit alternative now. It makes it art.
And the guy looks, pretty with his gelled up hair and his
beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why everybody hates Vatnet Viskar? Is that what everybody seems to hate them?
No,
too?
I'm okay with them. I just think their last album's better than their newer album.
But I also know you guys don't like the production. But I was wondering if people had a similar dislike with them.
No,
I've never heard them put together.
Sort of saw them as the hipster safe.
No, I don't think they're big enough to hit hipster. I mean, maybe they will be now. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that part of my distaste for them was the hipster factor. But I'd also make myself a liar if I didn't say, just like with Ghost, if the music backs it up, then the hipsters can go fuck themselves, and I'm going to like it too.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to talk about that hipster thing in more detail sometime because it is a problem. And I mean, I don't know if it's a problem, but I mean, it is.
If something's good, you can't help if fucking morons like it.
But you do have to fight with yourself on those instances because you've been kind of carrying the torch all these years, and along comes these guys with their beards and tight jeans, and you don't like them coming into your house.
But that doesn't make the music. That's not the fault of the music per se.
It's not. But
I'm not gonna stop eating pizza because all of a sudden pizza's the new cool thing. I've always liked pizza, and I'm always going to like pizza.
Yeah.
And just because pizza's the new cool thing, I'm not going to stop eating it. I
But what
still
is
like
it
pizza.
that you like, though? The fucking vocals are just one.
No.
It's different.
And I'm with you there. Like I said, I'm not all the way there yet.
The music
is good.
It's much better.
The instrumental aspect of the music is good. The vocals definitely need improvement.
Yeah,
If
it's
he
different,
starts
though.
to enunciate more and, maybe not screech quite so much, I think they could be amazing. But they're
I'll tell
not
you this,
there yet.
It's different than Sunbather. I'll just give you that.
It
It
is.
is different. It's
Guess
not.
I'll
the
listen
same
to it
record.
tonight playing hockey.
They remind me
No, I don't suggest you listen to it. It's just different.
they remind me of? We had this conversation at Fairwinds, Contortionist.
Yes.
Their early stuff, and I have the 3 albums.
Harsh
It's like,
vocals.
and it's very genty.
Uh-huh.
But you get
Can't stand gent.
but you get to the last album, which
What I'm listening to has a little gent in it, but go ahead.
but their last album, I can't.
They got a new singer.
and the title's escaping me. Language, I think it is. I'm not sure. Completely different. They added the jazz element.
Mm-hmm.
They started to expand new singer. But to me, they've moved further than Death Heaven needs to move to grab back those fans, I think.
Yeah.
Or to get those fans.
Yeah.
Get the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There needs to be a bigger shift in sound.
It's going to be tough because so many people hate Death Heaven. I was reading some of the reviews. It's just brutal.
Yeah, and they may never recover from that, but that doesn't mean they're not going to start making some decent music.
But I think they've done it. Well, they got the issue with the guitarist, don't they? They pulled some old posts of his online where he was using some
Racial slurs or something.
slurs
Oh, wonderful.
about
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
it was years ago. That was kind of a bunk story because it was from years ago. And he could have changed
Yeah.
and apologized, but they've got always something surrounding
Yeah,
them.
it's like Inquisition. I stopped listening to them
Yeah.
because of the whole Nazi thing. I was like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're on your own there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, I'm telling you, I know you know, John, you said a favorable review or two helped them. But this Sunbather was
Which you own on vinyl.
I do because again I
have the albums. I have everything by them, yeah.
I have no problem. I'll admit it, I have no problem buying because if it carries the weight to be labeled an album of the year by a lot of outlets,
So many lists.
exactly. I think
So many lists.
I think then hey, it is easily worth your money checking out.
And I was like,
And I have listened, and I you would have thought it was the second coming of Iron Maiden or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
I
that.
agree 100%.
The talk about it.
You know what? I mean, here's one of the problems I have with
but hold on, Jay. The
yeah,
thing
sorry.
is, when they came out, it was nothing even remotely new at all.
Yeah.
I don't understand where the
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely overhyped for Sunbather. But the music, without the vocals, is good.
yeah.
It's not the second coming of
would you
anything.
call? What would you put them in the genre?
Like I said, it sounds like a Smashing Pumpkins album played at double speed.
They're not atmospheric black metal.
No.
Look, when I think atmospheric black
It's post-metal.
I think maybe Tombs.
No.
Is that fair?
No.
No, I don't
Tombs
think
is
so
way
either.
better.
I would say, honestly, they remind me at a slightly heavier, slightly faster pre-Oceanic ISIS.
Or early
I mean, you hear that a little bit, John? Yeah, or the very early ISIS. Let's put it that way. Maybe even earlier than Signal. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just kind of trying to find the right post-metal band. I think George is on the right track there.
And it's hard to do because
Well, the first Tombs album is more post-metal than they
I
are
think
now.
so, yeah.
So, but I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
one to give more time to, I think.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and that's intriguing, if nothing else.
Yes, agreed.
You want to get this next one, Jay?
If
I
it makes,
do.
your, if it
I
makes
do.
your end of the year list, I'm fucking done with this pod.
If it makes you happy. Oh, sorry.
Is it
All
going
right,
to make
the
your
new-
end of the year list?
Maybe if I do 100.
Wait, didn't Matt say to you at Fairwinds, just if you like it, you like it. Just move
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
Yeah, but not if George likes it.
Now, see, the thing is, though, I'm not Matt of yesterday's Saints. However I try and word things, I can never change George. Matt could put a spin on Death Haven right now, and he would have George ripping off these Manowar posters, hanging up Death Haven posters.
The whole screen would be Death Heaven.
Exactly. He would have him change because George turns to me and he goes, "Man, this guy's brilliant with his words."
Yeah.
He comes in a pink
This
t-shirt.
should inspire you.
He does.
This is the point in the movie where they
say?
This is the point in the movie where they play the motivational music, the Rocky montage. Buke's going back to school. He's getting educated, and he comes back and he fucking slaps me down and shows me what's what.
That's the Tony Robbins of metal albums.
Nice.
All right.
Do you own Sunbather?
No.
Okay.
So. You do. So.
So do I.
All right.
If it was at the record store,
Not yet.
Because you and I can't leave without buying something.
Not yet.
Okay.
No. Jay?
Next new release is Denner Sherman. This would be the guitar duo from the original Merciful Fate. Satan's Tomb. I was immediately excited when I heard it. The only thing that I'll have to say about it, though, that's weakening it for me is that the lyrics are really bad. It's sort of like they kind of are trying to emulate King Diamond a little bit, and they just are way off the mark. But that stated, it has the exact guitar tones really in places of the early Merciful Fate records, which is cool just to hear that, because I have that sound is so ingrained in my brain. And then it actually goes to some more heavy modern places too. And the singer's good too. What are the bands he's from again, George? Do you remember?
I thought it was Ross the Boss's Death Dealer, but maybe it's Death Dealer.
Yeah, that's
Ross the fucking boss.
Yeah, I couldn't find I tried to look it up and I was wrong. I thought it was either Death Dealer or Deaf Dealer, and maybe it's Deaf Dealer.
He's in two bands, and it's good. It's good. You really do have to overlook the lyrics, and unfortunately, they're crystal clear in stark contrast to Death Heaven. But it's I would have recommended for anybody who is an old school Merciful Fate fan, without question. And there's a couple things you got to overlook about it, but it also goes to some pretty cool places, some cool riffs on it, and they sound great. By the way, they both sound like they haven't lost a step as far as playing is concerned.
Yeah, I bought it right away on Bandcamp. I'm digging it too.
Cool.
Moving along.
All right, this next one is called Temple of Baal. Their new album, Mysterium. Yeah, Temple of Baal is a I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Baal, but I think it's Baal. They're a French black death metal band. I actually listened to the album in its entirety earlier today as I took a walk around the neighborhood trying to cool off from some issues. And it's just a really cool black and death album. It's like the music's kind of blackish, but the vocals are more death metal. I think Buke should check this out. I think you'll dig it. I mean, there's a lot of blast beats, but still the music's really cool. The vocals are death. It's a great album. It's actually on my list of what I'm listening to this week, so...
Mark it down, John.
That's what I'm doing. I've seen this, and I just haven't checked it out yet.
Next out is the new Grave album. We just mentioned this last episode, I think. It's called Out of Respect for the Dead. I got the promo. I was hoping to listen to it before we recorded, but I did not get a chance to hear this yet. So I've only heard like the 2 tracks that they were streaming earlier, but I liked that. So if you're a fan of Grave and if you like Swedish death metal, you should be.
It's the style I like.
Yeah, so
classic death metal.
Make sure to check it out. I do not think you'll be disappointed.
Cool.
Speaking of disappointment, though,
Oh, I saw this coming.
I love how these guys
you
are
know
the
these
same.
guys?
I was just reading about this morning, and there's a lot of people who are disappointed.
You have a go-to site you go to, John?
No, we need to do this off air.
Okay.
I want to
Yeah.
confer what you guys use. I use about 5 or 6 different places.
Yeah.
The album we're talking about here is the new album from Hanging Garden called Blackout Whiteout. I heard about these guys when their last album came out. It was during my initial push of really getting into a lot of Death Doom bands. And their last album was really good. And in fact, I think I might even have some earlier work by them. I don't recall. But I fucking loved their last album. And then this Blackout Whiteout album comes out. And first of all, the album cover looks like a rat album cover. It's like a pair of like lipstick lips like on a window or something. Looks ridiculous. And they've just sort of kept the clean melodic aspect of the Death Doom and just kind of got rid of the metal.
That's what I heard, yeah.
It's just, I mean, there are some harsh vocals and some heavier moments, but wow, are they're actively trying to sell out. And so I'm just not behind this.
Guess they got house payments.
Yeah, fuck them for trying to get a buck and make it, I obviously
No, I'm making fun of them, dude. Fuck them.
No, you gotta do what you gotta do, but that doesn't mean I gotta like it.
There you go. That's another way. Or buy it.
Hey.
Wild Throne just released Harvest of Darkness, and these guys, I was excited by their EP, which it should be noted is included in this record. So they've basically released a full album now.
Yeah, Jay, remember when I first heard this? You said, Buke, listen to their first one.
And
this
that's the
guy's
one-
vocals are hard to get into, man.
He's kind of changed his style a little bit. I mean,
He has.
Total about
it's similar,
change.
but he's just a little more like wildly screechy now.
He
And
sounds like, what's a band from Buffalo that's a tremendously pop?
I know who they sound.
Every Time I Die.
Every Time I Die.
Yeah, he sounds just like Every Time I Die.
You know who they sound like to me? Is they sound so much like the Mars Volta. It's
Oh
ridiculous. I don't know
God,
if you know
I
them.
hate that.
Okay.
And dude, I got to tell you, it's
You
too
saw
bad.
them open up from
Soundgarden.
Mutoid Man, right?
That's correct, and they were great. And I was really excited because I thought Bloodmaker was a good record. I have the vinyl. This
I
is
do too.
basically Bloodmaker plus 7 songs that, frankly, don't go anywhere different than Bloodmaker. There's another 45 minutes or something for you to listen to that are just rehashed versions of Bloodmaker with, as George puts it, this slightly different vocal style that I think these guys will be out of the metal. People won't consider them a metal band real soon.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed. And I thought Bloodmaker made it look like we had a slightly new Mastodon type band on our hands, but no, totally not what it is. So kind of disappointed on that one.
It's funny because the album's called Harvest of Darkness. My very first band in high school was Dark Harvest.
Nice.
We had a little Reaper, and the R in Harvest was a scythe. We were Dark Harvest.
Oh, that's cute.
The original Children of Bottom.
Yeah, and there's like a band or a record label now. It's called Dark Harvest, and I just laugh.
This next one, George was nice enough to save for me because I'm the kind of resident Monster Magnet fan here. Well, I mean, George likes them too. But this is the second in the series of reimagined albums. And really what he's going and is doing is taking the most basic center tracks of previous records and just essentially 100% re-recording them. And this is based on Mastermind. Mastermind is really a great record, and it's called Cobras and Fire. I've only listened to it once, but it's just good as the last one, which was the reimagining of the previous album. So if you're a Monster Man fan, you'll dig it. It's definitely like into the kind of older 60s psych stuff. Dave's a great writer, and I think he's also a great singer. So I like it. I'm into it. Definitely one I'm spinning right now.
Yeah, I just put all their albums back on my phone again in FLAC because
FLAC.
I dig everything they've done, and I'm just your enthusiasm and the release of this album has just made me kind of want to go back and revisit it again. So.
Yeah, I'm his biggest supporter, man. Every time I hear an interview with Dave, he's really intelligent. I feel like I really understand his lyrics. He basically takes Marvel Comics and the life he lived in the 60s and mashes them into sort of social commentary on the rock scene, essentially. And I think he's brilliant at it. And he also writes cool riffs. It's sort of like Sabbath meets MC5.
Cool.
Which is what he likes. So, yeah. So anyway, and this new one is, if you're a Monster Magnet fan, you're going to need it. And I got the nice limited edition, I might add.
Sweet. They've done other stuff other than Space Lord?
That's what I would, and you know what? That is their, you got another thing coming in my book. That's, if you tried to sell Judas Priest
it's
on
their Ace of Spades.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like everybody who really likes them kind of probably crinkles a little bit when that song comes on because they can be better represented than that.
Yeah, I still love it.
It's fucking great. It's great, but it's not how I want to introduce you to them, whoever you are. Yeah.
Also coming out this week is the new Panopticon album, Autumn Eternal. I don't believe anybody here has heard it yet. I have heard a clip, like on Bandcamp, they're playing a song or two. Sounds like the same old Panopticon to me. They're one of those bands that I'm really trying hard to understand. Kind of like Deaf Evan. Like I don't quite understand the appeal because, again, the music's not bad. The vocals are pretty unintelligible, and it just seems kind of generic black metal to me. So
a lot of our listeners like them.
Yeah,
we're asked about them.
And like Nine Circles guys really dig it. Yep. And I know, so I haven't quite figured it out yet. I was hoping maybe this new album might help me figure it out, but I haven't heard anything but the promo tracks yet, so we'll see. Next up is the new wave of British heavy metal band Satan and their new album Atom by Atom. I think Jay was saying he liked this album.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's good. I like them in general. I had the good fortune to see them last year, which was cool. I mean, obviously at this point in their careers, they're not breaking any ground. It's just kind of new wave of British heavy metal style heavy metal with a little bit more of a modern edge to it. It's good. It's good if you're into Satan or Blitzkrieg, you'll like it.
Yeah, I like Court in the Act, and I liked their last album. Was it Life Sentence?
Yeah. Or Lives. I can't remember. Life Sentence.
I got to say though, I wasn't all that thrilled with this one. Something about it just wasn't doing it for me.
Right on.
All right, this next one, Saxon has a new album, Battering Ram. Is this like their 50th album? I don't even know.
49th.
49th. Has anybody heard this or anything from it yet?
I haven't checked it out yet.
I listened to the title track, and it's definitely. I am a kind of a Saxon fan, and not even kind of, but you could skip out of the last 10 records. You could pick 5. Not necessarily at random, and skip them, and you'd be all right. This one reminds me of probably one of their best post-2000 records, which is called Lionheart. Mm-hmm. It's just the one track I heard. So I also probably won't race out to get it, though, because Saxon is cranking out records every 2 years now, and I might have enough Saxon records. So,
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm full up. I don't need more.
So, but it sounds right in line with their kind of like, they are one of the kind of like, I consider them honestly big 3 as far as like Maiden, Saxon, and Priest being the kind of big 3 British bands at that time, and they're the ones who I think are still consistently putting out.
Yeah, I agree.
Good records
and consistently underrated.
Consistently underrated.
Yeah.
But that stated, I mean, it's not. If you've bought any of the last 5, this is pretty much like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you know what you're getting,
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
they're not gonna fucking break it.
Not even close.
Right. All right. The last new release, I haven't heard it yet. I really want to hear it.
I listened a little bit.
I just found out about this about a week or so ago. Is a new band called With the Dead and their self-titled album. And you're asking me, George, why do I care? Well, have you ever heard of a little band called Cathedral? Perhaps Lee Dorian and Rise Above Records. Well, this is Lee Dorian's new band. What? I thought Lee Dorian was retired after Cathedral. No, fuck no, man. He's got some shit to prove still, particularly to some motherfuckers in a band called Electric Wizard.
Oh, yeah.
Take that, Electric Wizard.
Fuck you, Electric Wizard.
I like that
fucking
you
Lee
just had that
Dorian's got
covered.
your fucking balls in his hands.
This is Metalheads podcast throwing out some fucking bombs.
We're throwing
on
some
your ass.
shade on you. No, but I'm joking. But I just read that there's no love lost between
there's
Lee
not.
Dorian and Electric Wizard. Apparently, there was a lot of shit in the press. And With the Dead actually has a couple former members from Electric
Yes.
Wizard, along with Lee Dorian.
I've heard.
You can look over on the wall here. I've got a Cathedral poster. I'm a big Lee Dorian fan.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this.
It sounds like the real early stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you've heard it already.
Like Forest of Equilibrium, kind of.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's slow, and it's just all Lee, and I'm like, yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's cool.
Got to pre-order me some vinyl.
It's out there. There's a song or two out there you can hear. Right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
But it'll be out by the time this posts, so
Yeah.
I'll have bought it one way or another. All right.
I'm excited about this.
Let's move on to our top 3.
What's your topic? What's your topic? What's your this week?
We went to John for this one, and he said, "What are we going to do?"
Something
Well-
impossible. John was like, you know what? Let's just pick the hardest fucking thing in the world.
Jay, you're hitting me over the head with a bat, and it's so right now because what I suggested is like, oh, dude, I think I said I got my 3.
You
already.
did.
That thing has changed like 10 times. It's with the impending Iron Maiden tour that probably none of us will get a chance to go see.
No.
Because they're playing like in 4 places. Top 3 Maiden deep tracks. Not regular tracks, but just deep tracks that you want to hear them play. And I took it as it doesn't matter how Bruce can sing it or not.
Yeah.
Just anything you'd want to see them play.
Yeah.
And I fought with this hard.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys did too. Oh, I did.
It wasn't that hard for me.
Well,
although before we start, I did a little research because I was curious about how often they play particular things. And so while I was doing this research, I saw a fact, or at least what seemed like a fact that sort of confused me. They said that Iron Maiden has not played Flight of Icarus live since 1986. I swear I have seen them play that song.
Not even on the Made in Japan or Made in England tour.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, fly. You know, I mean, I swear I've sung along to this live.
I believe it.
I
I believe it. I've seen them on every American tour since Brave New World, and I don't. Call
maybe.
hearing.
I feel like, so I don't know, maybe the website was old, but I was just like, I thought that maybe I might call bullshit on that one. Anyway, we're going to go, around the table with what we've got. We're going to do John.
This is a great topic you brought up, John.
This is going to be a fun one.
All right, so I originally had broken it up. I was going to do like one when Bruce had rejoined the band, one from the non-Bruce period, and then one prior to that. And I was like, scrap that. Then I was going to include some instrumentals. I was like, no. And I wanted to, because Lost for Words is one of my favorite instrumentals of all time. It's
brilliant.
And has been done live, by the way.
And it has been. So what I looked for then was songs that just haven't been played much. I think we were talking about it earlier, Jay, before we started. And so I came up with 3. Of course, I have an honorable mention.
So do I.
And I have to have this one on there because it is one of my top 10 Maiden songs of all time. And it comes from a non-Bruce album. And
did Opeth cover it? Because it's on my list.
I know what it is. All right, can I take a wild
my
guess,
number
John?
one.
No. Go ahead, Jay. You want to guess?
Blood on the World's Hands.
No. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
No. But Bruce sings it, but it's not originally recorded by Bruce.
Oh, I see.
And it's on the Rock in Rio. And my honorable mention's The Klansman.
Oh,
Right on.
yes.
Yeah, that's
Because
good. Yeah.
when I saw them, it took me this long to see them live, which was when they toured with Motorhead and Dio. It took me that long.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That was your first time?
Yeah, can you believe that?
That was a great tour, though.
And they played The Klansman, and I was just like, oh my God, this just sounds infinitely better.
Yeah.
And it's not that the songs are bad, it's just Bruce needed to be on a lot of the songs. And I have nothing against Blaze.
Sorry, Blaze.
So that's my honorable mention, but I'll get right into it. And I ended up going all early stuff, because that's where my heart lies the most. But my number 3 is Sea of Madness. They haven't played that in a really long time.
That's a great fucking song, dude.
It's a great tune. I don't know if it's so much
one of the great opening riffs.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a great deep track from that album.
It's deep.
But it's deep for me that it hasn't been played in forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was looking at that, but I didn't want to do more than one song per album, so.
Yeah, I tried to do the same thing, but that's my number 3.
All right, Jay, number.
I do have to have an honorable mention to Thin Line Between Love and Hate off of Brave New World, which is, I think, one of the Lost Maiden Epics record closers. Yeah. So I'll just throw that out there now. My number 3, I'm wondering if anybody else is going to have this, off of Power Slave, Back in the Village.
Ooh.
Nice.
I love that fucking song.
I repeat my statement that I made with John, but I was looking at that one too.
Right on.
Buke.
I don't have the history like you guys do, and
Doesn't matter.
A burning passion. Off of Peace of Mind, Still Life.
Yeah.
See, that is the song that should have been on my list, and I left it off because I have mentioned it so many times in the past that I was like, I'm going to do something different.
Yeah.
But I love that. And
Cool tune.
And they played it on the last time we went.
But it's still a deep track, though.
It
really
is very deep
It really
track.
is.
It is.
Really
Yeah,
is.
as deep as it gets.
Okay. I have an honorable mention.
It's an honorable mention.
An honorable mention. Yeah, that's why I stopped and corrected myself. Which, that's a little weird.
He just
It is a little
started to trip and caught himself.
Yeah.
From Power Slave, Flash of the Blade.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
sure.
Yeah.
Or the Duelists or anything off that. Really,
yeah,
a bunch of those deep ones.
Nice.
Yeah, The Duelist was good too. But my number 3, great song, doesn't seem to get as much love as it used to, Infinite Dreams.
Yeah.
When John said that was infinitely better, I was going to say, if somebody doesn't have an Infinite Dreams, well, you had said something was infinitely better with Bruce singing it.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. That's a great. That's the revelations off that record. And it's good too.
Yeah,
It's really good.
so good. Back
All right.
to John for
My
number 2.
All right, let's just go back to Power Slave. You guys have already mentioned it. The Duelist. I don't think they've ever played that live. I think it's
doubt it.
one of the ones, and just the gallop, the chug-a-lug.
It's kind of a Die With Your Boots On type track, which is a great fucking song too. You know, it's yeah.
And it reminds me also of Where Eagles Dare is that Bruce will sing a little bit, then he'll go for a smoke.
Yep.
And Bruce goes back, and you're like, yes, everything's good again.
Yes. So
And,
basically, I think at this point it's safe to say anything that they don't play off Power Slave, why the hell aren't they playing it?
Basically,
well,
yeah.
and I'm surprised I haven't played that because it's a great time for Bruce to kind of take a breather.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't done that more often. So
Yeah. Good stuff.
Bruce does
That
not
was a
slow
good
down.
one. That was a really good one.
Yeah. All right, Jay, number 2.
All right, mine's pretty deep and pretty old, going all the way back to the first record. And I just before the pod, I was getting on YouTube to see if there were versions of Bruce singing this, and there is, and it sounded pretty amazing. And it's "Remember Tomorrow."
yes, love it.
Nice.
Love to hear that live.
Great track.
Mine, as a fan of the subject matter I love this song. Off of No Prayer for the Dying, Run Silent, Run Deep.
Wow, that's a good song. Deep.
That is fucking
really deep.
Love that song.
You know,
Yeah,
people give that album a lot of crap, but I saw him on that tour, and I'm a you know, Tail Gunner, Holy Smoke,
Yeah.
Mother Russia. You know, it's a good album, I think.
First non-Adrian album probably kills it for some people.
Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 2 from Peace of Mind. Guesses, Jay?
To Tamerlan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
I gave that to you because you guessed it last time we were doing this, and you were wrong. This time you were right. To Tame a Land,
Good tune.
the epic song about Frank Herbert's Dune. So I that's a great song. I'd love to hear him play it live.
That the time will come for him. Oh fuck that fucking climax at the end of the song, man.
Yeah.
Lay claim his crown. God, this shit's good.
All right.
All right, my number 1 off of Number of the Beast, which it's actually not on the original album. It was on the U.S.
oh, look at this guy going all extremely deep.
1988 remasters. Total Eclipse.
Yeah.
They did that, I think, just back on the Number of the Beast tour, wasn't it? And that was it.
Is that like a Bonnie Tyler cover, or what is that?
No, it's you know, it's if
thinking she
you
covered
know
them.
it though, right, George? You know,
Actually, it's Jay. I think you mentioned it before. That Beast Over Hammersmith.
it's on there, baby.
Oh, it's just awesome on that.
John, I was just listening to that last night, and I'd forgotten Total Eclipse was on there.
And to be honest with you, other than Live After Death, that's my favorite live album by them.
Live After Death is
It's my very favorite.
Yeah, Beast Over Hammersmith's just awesome.
It's like a week before Number of the Beast came out, and it's just, they all sound great. Oh, God, that's a good
I'm
record.
looking for that on FLAC. I haven't found it yet.
And all the videos are from that concert that they did at the time. And it's funny to hear Bruce talking about, well, you guys have made this song, you know, a hit, which was Run to the Hills. Everyone's just kind of just sitting there. Yay.
Yeah.
Cheering.
Do you have the early years DVD, John?
Yes. I
Yeah,
love
because
it.
it's got about 8 or 10 tracks from that. Yeah.
I think that my favorite track from that is the Prisoner from that video collection.
Honestly, for me, it's Children of the Damned because he just sounds so good on that. I mean, the live thing. Yeah.
It's just the whole show's great.
A great choice, and this is not an honorable mention, but I had considered it, and since you said Total Eclipse, at least I'm just going to mention it, which was Cross-Eyed Mary. I think it'd be really cool if they did that live.
That would.
Yeah.
That's
Total Eclipse of a Heart? Is that what you said?
that's right. You know
what we were
it.
talking about, but
Their
that's
version
the
of Cross,
Jethro Tull.
that's actually a great cover by them.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
That's like my favorite Maiden cover, and they've done quite a
Isn't
few.
that on the single re-releases that I just bought on
it is.
vinyl?
Yes. What?
Yeah, it's the B-side, I believe, of The Trooper, if I remember right, because believe it or not, I think I had that vinyl back in the day.
It got some airplay too when it came out. I think originally.
Yeah,
a little bit.
it was no.
Yeah.
So
All
what
right, my number 1 is one of my favorite Maiden tracks of all time, and I think I kind of am alone on this, but, well, I'll just throw it out there, and it's Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner.
Nice.
Oh, fuck.
Loneliness of Jay on his number 1.
That's like that silence.
That right there was the true definition of a deep track, when there's 3 and 2 decades-long metalheads sitting here at the table, and there was radio silence for about 2 seconds.
And then just nice.
Yeah, and then,
Okay.
and then just, okay.
Okay, he's going to go that way. No,
Thanks for playing.
it's a good song.
Your services are no longer needed. Yeah, that's a good. I love that song.
You're on your own on that one, Jay.
Clearly.
Mine's off of their debut album. It's one of my favorite ones. It's a non-Bruce song. I saw a video a couple years ago of Bruce singing it, but it is Remember Tomorrow.
Remember tomorrow.
That was my
I love the lyrics
tune.
to it. I love the songs to it. Sorry, I love the whole song.
Excellent. My number 1 is from the same album as Jay's.
That's the only song that we've had twice so far. Remember Tomorrow. Go ahead, George.
Yeah. From the Somewhere in Time album, the epic, never played live before, Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
There's a whole group of people out there, George, on the internet who agree with you,
Yeah.
and none of them are here.
No. Hey, you know, if not for Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, that would be and To Tame a Land, but it would be one of the most epic songs, I think. And it just doesn't get any love, and they haven't played it. And I read that the reason it never got played was because on the Somewhere in Time tour, they opted to play Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which meant they couldn't play another long song, and so they had to skip it. And it just after that, it just never got into rotation.
It's too late. Yeah.
Very common with a lot of bands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially Maiden at this point.
All right, let's move on to what we are listening to. John, what are you listening to?
Obviously, a gazillion things. The 2 Wilderun albums, obviously, which are always in heavy rotation. But just real quick, new My Dying Bride. Been checking that out.
Hell yeah.
Misery. It's not bad. I like it.
I like it.
I really dig the last track, Within a Sleeping Forest. But it's growing on me, the album, more and more. I'm not so sure about the production on it. It's a little quiet for me. It's not up front, but it's growing. I like the album. Just loving the new Amorphous.
Yep.
I'm big
It's
on
good, dude. Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, okay, they've done similar things the last, 6 albums, but this one, by far, they're kind of pulling some of their old stuff out a little bit and still going forward. Was it Bad Blood and Death of a King are just killer tracks. One that I found, I don't know how I found it, A Flourishing Scourge, which is a little EP that...
It was a wonderful wake-up text message from you.
And I didn't know if everyone would like it, so I know he's always going on and on about that.
I like it.
Fucking Opeth band.
Yeah, this
On
guy.
and on about Opeth. So I figured, all right, I'll send one to my Opeth brothers. He's still on the camp. And then George's like, well, hey, wait a minute. What about me? And I'm like, oh, fuck. Everyone likes it. Awesome.
Can I just put it on the record? Here it is. Here's the record, and I'm placing it on the record. Buke liked a band, and he told me about it, and I like it, and I bought it.
Awesome.
Oh.
Awesome.
All right? Are you happy?
But it came from John, so does that really... No.
Doesn't
No,
matter.
I'm just
Doesn't
messing
matter.
with
I don't know where I don't know where I found it. I just said, hey,
Okay.
you might dig these guys.
They're from Seattle.
Yeah.
They gave us a wonderful, thank you on Facebook.
Well, I think
on
we should.
Twitter.
I think we should get them on.
They
Get it.
agreed to come on.
You guys should definitely
Yeah,
get
they've
them.
totally agreed to come on.
2 more, real quick. Pagan's Mind is finally releasing Full
Is Matt
Circle.
here?
I've been a Pagan's Mind fan for
Yeah, they're nice. They're good.
years.
Yep.
They're finally releasing Full Circle soon, which is their live at Center Stage, which was at Prague Power, where they played all of Celestial Entrance.
And you were probably...
Oh,
Like a little girl.
at some point, you're just like, I'm not going back and changing. Fuck that. I got a whole nother 60 minutes to go. 2.5 hours. They did that album. Then they did like what they consider their best songs, and this was another kind of Kickstarter. It was Indiegogo, though they did it through. So I've been listening to that, and then the last one, which is a new release, but it's only a single, is the new one from The Ocean. I don't know if you guys like The Ocean.
I love the ocean.
They have a new, I guess, split coming out with
Yes,
Bono.
yes.
And I checked out the song, and it's very, how you pronounce the last album? Pelagic.
Pelagic.
And it's very much like that album. It continues.
Okay,
to that.
good.
Sounds
I
great.
love that album, and I saw that this was coming out, and I was like, ooh, New Ocean, and then I was like, oh, it's just a single, and so I didn't listen to it because I was like, fuck you, I don't listen to singles.
12 minutes. It's a lot of music. So
I should listen to it.
it's very good. I like it.
Excellent. Jay, what are you listening to?
I got a few things that are spinning with me a lot. One, and George kindly got this to me this week, and I know Buke's really into these guys too. Older record, or at least it's not a new record, Black Crown Initiate, Wreckage of Stars. That was my initiation of these guys. That's a good record. I'm digging that.
So good.
They were on the list last year.
Another band that Buke told me about that I like.
There you go.
Just FYI.
Yeah, and that's solid stuff, dude. Like it's great. Anyway, Ahab.
Times, Jay.
I'm listening to Ahab more and more. Actually, I'm digging that one. Just got that Cobras and Fire, the Monster Magnet thing. I like that. One of the other things that we got a promo for recently, we got a couple kind of old school thrash revival bands recently, and one of them, Total Cheeseball cover, Total Cheeseball titles, but it's a band called Death Hammer, record called Evil Power, and it's like, honest to God, it's like a mix between like Show No Mercy, Slayer meets Bonded by Blood Exodus. Like, if you mash those two records together, I mean, it's not quite the level of those records, but it's kind of fun to listen to. Probably won't last too long with me, but I gotta say it's pretty hip. I'm also listening to, and also another one that showed up in the box recently. The box, by the way, we mentioned it's just literally a box on Google where George puts promos for us. Active Defiance. This was a pretty interesting album that we picked up as a promo that reminds me a lot of a slightly more produced Goat Whore. It's a little less blackened than that.
Okay.
But it literally reminds me of Goat Whore. I mean, you'll have to check it out. Anyway, I was pretty surprised when I heard that record. And I'm even more surprised now to hear who it was because I had no idea. All I saw was the promo. I didn't read about it. So,
Megadeth leftover band.
Essentially, yeah. And that's about it. What are you listening to, Buke?
Very simple. Just get right to it. Save on time. Black Tongue from Hull, England. The Unconquerable Dark.
Nice.
It's probably my number. I'm bouncing by force. Number jumped up my list. Number 2, number 3 album.
It's in there. Okay.
It's fucking all over the map.
All right.
Brutal album. Rocks my whole house.
I downloaded it, but I'll start
Slow, doomy.
Cool. I'm glad to know it's getting you going because that gives me something new to put on.
So I've been kind of tearing it up on Bandcamp. I think I might be trying to be in some sort of like buying race with our friend Gregory Kelly, because we just keep going back and forth on things. I've got 17 bands here.
Jesus Christ.
You'd think I went to the frickin' beach again or something.
You know Mike does a Spotify playlist for this every week. You're going to kill the poor man.
I know.
Sorry, Mike.
I am just going to go through these quickly. A lot of it is like either black metal or black and death metal or death and black metal, or there's a lot of similar stuff. But okay, I'm just gonna run through it quickly. This one I got from John. I don't know how to pronounce it. Amestigon and Thier. I don't know how to pronounce that either. It's like there, but it's the I and the E are backwards.
That's some wild stuff.
Members of Abagor and Summoning. Highly recommended. Check it out. Next up is a band called Balmog, kind of like Balrog, but with an M. Suma Fide, perhaps. It's a Spanish black metal band. Also really good. Check it out. Next up, Corpse Garden Entheogen. That's a death metal band from Costa Rica. I think Buke would like these guys if he doesn't already. Really cool. Check it out.
I had them right now.
I've got the new Death Heaven on there. We already talked about that. Let's skip that. A band called Dwell and their album Vermin and Ashes. They're from Denmark.
I know Corpse Garden, yeah.
I just found out yesterday that this is actually a compilation of their demo and a couple of extra tracks. I would not have guessed that. It is an incredibly well-crafted album of really good, like, death metal, doomish kind of stuff. I highly recommend it. Get it on Bandcamp. Next one is a band. It's pronounced Dystopia Now. However, they are a Norwegian band, and it's actually spelled Dystopia N-O with a little dot over it.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, I bet that's now. And I went into Google Translate, and I put that in there, and it translated to now. So
that's a great album.
Dystopia Now, Dweller on the Threshold.
Love it.
It's a little avant-garde-ish.
Yes.
Very worth listening to. You can also find that on Bandcamp. Next up is a death doom band from Brooklyn called Fin Amor. That's FIN''AMOR. And their album Forbidding Mourning, as in to mourn morning. Really good stuff. Check it out. Also on Bandcamp. Next up is a demo from a German band called Grimmage, and it's called Tales from Beyond. I did not know this was a demo until I was researching it for my list. I bought it because it sounded awesome. It's just check it out. I don't have time to tell you about it. It's not as heavy as some of this other stuff. But it's good. It's kind of doom. Next up is a band called Hive Lords and Tapered Limbs of a Human Star. They're a Philly black doom band. Really cool stuff. A band I'm going to mispronounce Har, Haar. And their album, The Wayward Ceremony. They're from Scotland. It's a progressive black metal band. I highly recommend it.
We also have the promo of that, George. I hope you didn't buy it off Bandcamp.
I did for the flack. But yes, I gave you guys the promo a while back, and nobody said anything. And I was like, meh, whatever. I like it. But I finally picked it up on Bandcamp because it's awesome. Next up is a band called In Twilight's Embrace, not to be confused with the band we had on here last year called Twilight's Embrace. This is a band from Poland. They play death metal. And
The Grim Muse.
Yeah, the album's called The Grim Muse. And, I started listening to this on Bandcamp, and I was like, damn, this is like some old school kind of At the Gates kind of shit. Oh, well, that's because the song I was listening to. There's 2 songs on the album featuring Thomas Lindberg on vocals. So, gold star to me for picking out Thomas Lindberg. But the rest of the album's really good, too. There's a couple other singers. Next up is a stoner sludge band from the UK called Limb, and their new album, Terminal. Not as heavy as some of this stuff, but it's good kind of stoner with a little bit of heavier sludge to it, if you like that sort of thing. Next up is a band I can thank Fiend for. He mentioned it on the last episode. This is, fuck if I can pronounce this, Mephorash or Mephorash, or I don't know how you pronounce it, Mephorash. and their album 1557 Rites of Nullification. It's a Swedish black metal band, not your average black metal. Should check it out. Next up, Ocean Wake. Album's called Sunless. It's a Finnish death doom band. Probably not my favorite on this list, but it's not bad. So I picked it up. You should check it out. Next up, got this one from Corey over at Nine Circles. Shrine of Insanabilis. However you say that. Disciples of the Void, German black metal band. Also not quite your average typical black metal band. Check it out. Temple of Baal, I already mentioned them in the new releases. French black death band, I'm really digging it. And finally, number 17, a band by the name of Roman numeral 6, VI. The album's called De Prestigiis Angelorum. I didn't write down where they were from, I forget, but it's a black metal album.
At this point, as long as you just held on for that ride.
Whew, I should have saved some of these for next time. Next week, I'll have like one. But as you can see, I have been busy hunting. So, okay, let's move on to our classic albums.
All right, I'll go quick. Let's talk about Fate's Warning playing Prog Power. And I went all the way back to Spectre Within. Love it. Been playing it a bunch of times. And it's cool. That's all I have to say.
I love it.
It's a great album.
I didn't chime in there much on that, but I just kind of want to say that John Arch is one of my favorite American vocalists ever. No question about it. Love everything he's done with Fate's Warning and otherwise.
Perhaps you should join us. Even though you'll already have been here for Death Fest.
That's true enough, yeah. When is it, by the way? What is the date?
September.
I hear told it's sold out.
Oh, yeah. You can find a ticket.
All right. Mine is kind of a weird choice. It's the one kind of weird, standout, odd Motorhead record, and it's got Brian Robertson from Thin Lizzy was on the band for one record. It was called Another Perfect Day.
Oh, yeah?
And a lot of Motorhead people hate this record, but I think it's a really good record, so I just kind of want to throw it out there.
Nice.
Really simple, kicking with my thrash that I've been on the last couple months. Testament to Legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Starts out with Over the Wall, and it just continues awesome.
That's classic.
So.
Classic. I took us back to the Wayback Machine to 1983 for a band I mentioned briefly earlier, Warlord and Deliver Us. Classic. This was probably sort of a progenitor prog metal band as well, really. Again, I didn't really think of it that way back then, but songs like Deliver Us from Evil, I think it's called, and of course, Child of the Damned. What a fucking killer song that is.
Right on.
All right, vinyl purchases.
All right, real quick. None of mine are new. Well, they're new, but they're not new releases. Rush, is releasing everything again in 200 gram, whatever. So I just picked up Exit Stage Left, Signals, and Caress of Steel. Got the two Neuroses that just came out through Silver and Blood and Times of Grace in Ox Blood.
In Ox Blood.
And then back to Fate's Warning again. Finally got a hold of Spectre Within.
It's always Fate's Warning with this guy.
And I think it's like, one of 500 or something that were released?
Yeah, the reissue.
Yeah, the reissue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's limited, so I got one of them.
Nice.
Jay, what you
Nice,
got?
as George would say. Pretty small load for me this time. A couple things showed up that I've probably mentioned previously because I ordered them, but now they showed up. I finally got my copy of Ahab, which was floating around in space for whatever reason.
I'm glad that's resolved.
Yeah, me too, dude. I don't know what the deal was there, but it was great to have it, and I have to say I put it in the first day, sat there and listened to it all the way through. I got both Monster Magnet albums that we were talking about, the Mastermind and the Cobras and Fires, and those are both really kind of cool, splattery wax on them. And finally, one I'm pretty sure Buke is going to say too, which is I did pick up the Cattle Decapitation on vinyl.
Yes, I did pick that up. I finally found the Cattle on vinyl. I grabbed that. I picked up the new Black Dahlia Murder Abysmal on vinyl. And since I was disappointed with the album last year, I waited till I picked it up on vinyl. I got Machine Head, Killers and Kings. Is that it?
I thought it was Bloodstones and Diamonds.
Bloodstones and Diamonds. Killers and Kings. That's a track off the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodstones. I got that on vinyl finally.
Cool. All right, well, I got two Rat albums I'm sure you're all excited about. Reach for the Sky and Dancing Undercover for a little bit of hair metal. And I couldn't wait around for Jay to get me this one, so I got Tool's 10,000 Days. And I got this one's a little hard to find. I got Satiricon's Rebel Extravaganza.
Oh, right on.
And
John, the joke there was when George got to 1,349 vinyl albums, I bought him 1349 record, and so I told him I'd buy him. My next one would be Tool's 10,000 Days. So he was going to need to get up 9,999 albums, but I guess he got sick of waiting.
Yeah.
And just to put John in his place, I also got Neurosis, Through Silver and Blood, End Times of Grace, Oxblood, bitch.
Yes, and they look awesome.
I got Times of Grace, but it's black.
Deep tracks.
All right, my deep track, it's on the wall. Cathedral, Carnival Bazaar, last track, Electric Grave.
Nice.
Love that too.
John, topical. Well done, John.
Jay.
My deep track. Arguably all these guys' songs are deep tracks, but it's one I would like people to give a listen to off of High on Fire's Blessed Black Wings or Blessed Black Wings. There's a song in there that's like a dirge. It's called Brother in the Wind. God, I love that song. It's a great song. Brother in the Wind, High on Fire.
Right on. Buke.
Off of South of Heaven, Dissident Aggressor.
Woohoo! That's a good choice.
Judas Priest cover.
Yes, it is.
Grand Canyons.
My deep track is Flight of the Warrior from Riot's Thundersteel.
George always wins deep tracks. If this was a contest, he would win every time. Hey, George, I think you probably have them, but they just re-released all of those on vinyl again.
Yeah, I've got
them.
I've got Thundersteel, and I've got I've got a couple other ones that I think were reissues as well.
Restless Breed, all of them. Like all those, the good ones, just came out on vinyl again.
All right, well, here we are at the end of the episode, finally.
Dazed and confused.
This is another one of the long ones. If you've made it this far.
John's like, why did I say I would come?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on vacation for like 12 days, so it's all right.
Awesome. Perfect.
Nice. All right, well, before we get into the last bit with Evan from Wilderun, make sure to check us out on Facebook, where you can find us under the Metalheads podcast on Facebook. We are on Twitter. I am at Disciple of Metal, Disciple OV Metal.
I'm at Opeth fan.
I love how you're disappointed every time you say it.
Jay's at Catatonic J.
That's right.
And if you'd like to speak with John.
At White Cluster.
Thank you. I got so many different names.
At White Cluster
69.
69, dude.
And may I say, please follow John, not just because he's our friend, but John has recently started a nightly headphones play.
Yeah, only headphones.
Yeah, only headphones. It's pretty cool. If you're like us and you have a nice pair of headphones, he straps on the headphones, listens to an album. So
the only problem is I'm conking out every time.
It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes
it's great.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Instagram at Metalheads Podcast. We're on YouTube. I just updated our YouTube channel so that's a little prettier. It's more Metalheads based instead of Metal Disciple, since that's going away.
If you're on Xbox, look me up, Opeth Bodum. I'll take you in fucking hockey. Bring it.
And I'm Puck Buddy, by the way. On that's right, Puck Buddy.
He's Puck Buddy.
Puck Buddy. Cute. We're also on Stitcher, and of course, as always, you can find us on metalheadspodcast.com. Going to thank John again for coming on.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
John.
me.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys.
Truly.
Appreciate it.
And
we will beers.
Yes, thank you.
Hope you enjoyed.
We did. And we will see you next time, so stick around, and this is the last bit with Evan and another song. See you next time. All right, well, here we are at the end of today's episode, and as promised, we will be playing another song from Wilderun. We have Evan with us still. And before we get into that, though, Evan, is there anything you'd like to pimp, talk about, or where can people get your stuff?
Well, I always just, advertise the Bandcamp page. It's where most people hear our music. So if anyone wants to check us out, it's just wilderun.bandcamp.com. We have, digital copies, physical copies of both records. We got a couple T-shirts up there, a couple new T-shirts that we just put up a few weeks ago from our most recent tour. So, yeah, Bandcamp is where to go. And as far as any shows go, no specific plans, but, if anyone's looking to see us in the U.S., just keep an eye out for next year. Early next year, we're going to be trying to play some shows. So, just stay tuned for that.
Evan, I'm sure you can see on the camera, the three of us are pretty healthy. Do you have healthy sizes available on the Bandcamp?
Right now we have small through 2XL.
fine.
of most
borderline.
of most shirts. So we have an array.
See, because you have to, what George is trying to say is folk and prog fans are a little on the healthy side.
and we need our 3X or bigger.
Yeah, we'll definitely. That's next in the plan.
Either that, or I could just eat a few less cheeseburgers and get into a 2X. But
No more.
why should it be my fault?
Exactly.
Evan, I will say my part in speaking for the rest of us. We love your album.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I don't know what could knock this off my list for #1 album of the year. So
I really appreciate it.
the list is very fluid. It always changes all the time. You guys are probably locked in still. So thanks for coming on and joining us, John.
Yeah,
anything?
I'm honored.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better. I think it's going to be hard. I love the album and look more from you guys and hope everything goes even better.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so next up is the song "The Garden of Fire." Is there anything you can tell us about that before we play it?
It's just a heavy fucking track.
That's what we like to hear.
That's what we like. Simple and brilliant. There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. And here you go, everyone. This is "The Garden of Fire."
surrender to the fading sun. We'll wake and we'll find intentions and action are one. So don't despair if you can't find your mind. For tonight we drink together from the goblets of time.